Welcome back to another At the Table lecture. Today we're joined by Brandon and Chris. Although the lecture will be by Brandon, Chris is here to chime in on any tips or anything he may have. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are
Doing
you?
good? Good, doing great. How are you?
I thought you were just going to leave me in the wind there.
Oh, no, never. I wouldn't do that.
He's short, but he's not invisible.
How are you guys doing?
Good. We're good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this today and go over a whole bunch of different crazy stuff that I've been working on for a while and jamming on a whole bunch of tricks. We've been working on perfecting little things here and there, and this is just a whole bunch of crazy stuff that I've kind of wanted to teach people and do, but it wasn't stuff I necessarily was going to maybe release on the market, but I thought was good enough that, you know, we could do here and share with everybody. So yeah, I'm really pumped to get into all this stuff.
Yeah, some of this material was created like 3 years ago, and then we just kind of put it aside and we're like moving on to other things. And then when we got the opportunity to do the lecture, we were like, hey, you know, maybe this is the time that we dig back into that stuff. So we spent a lot of time honing it and making it great for you guys.
Like Donald Trump, making it great again.
So what's the first trick you're going to show us?
Well, funny you should ask. I got a really cool trick for you. Chris, you want to take one of these? Perfect. You can go ahead and show the camera if you want.
I'll sign it first, yep.
Sure. Perfect. Just place that face down in the pack. If you could be kind enough to pass the marker over to Javier. Could you go ahead and take one out?
Yep.
Perfect. Go ahead and... so you look surprised right there. Can you go ahead and sign it for me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Fantastic. The Jack of Clubs. Good card. So it's going to fold it up now. Could you do me a favor? Just open up your hand. Pinch the card. Yes? All right. Place the cards back in the box. Now, you sign the...
Jack of Clubs.
The Jack of Clubs, right. And Chris, you sign the...
Queen of Diamonds.
Queen of Diamonds. The video will confirm that, right? Right. Yeah, so his card was lost in the center of the pack. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes? And you're holding on to...
Jack of Clubs.
The Jack of Clubs, right? Watch. 3, 2... See, it happened so fast you didn't see it, right? It seemed like that was ridiculous, but go ahead and open that up. So you'll notice that that's actually his card, the Queen of Diamonds, that was in the center of the pack. Show the camera, yeah. And check this out. Here, look, I'll show you something quite weird. Inside, look at this. Inside,
Wow.
Chris, can you go ahead and just open that up? Inside, folded in the center of the pack, the Jack of Clubs, which is your card that you were just holding.
Yeah. Nice.
You guys can keep that as a little souvenir.
Thank you.
I'm sure you
Thank
don't
you.
want it, but you can have it.
Keep that.
Cool. So that was the 2-card transpo. This is a really cool trick. It's actually a utility gimmick, which we'll go ahead and get into that now, how to make it. Just get 3 cards, put them aside. Okay. You're going to need, if you need to, a ruler, a glue stick, and that's it. Oh, and a knife. Be careful. So take one of the cards. You're going to basically be cutting. I'm going to draw on this in a second. Right from the angel's elbow to the angel's elbow. So that's exactly where you need to cut, from her elbow to her elbow. So I'm going to draw right there. I think it's safe to say, just go right to where her arm, right the back of her arm here, and then go down all the way like so. So don't mind that. You're not. That I just went too far there. But you're gonna cut from just where she ends, where the angel is finished, like right where her arm is, and just cut all the way over to her like stomach, and then all the way down to her other arm. I'll show you. You're just going to make enough cut. You'll be able to test out that it's done properly by what I'm going to show you next. So cut that down, And now you're going to cut this out. It's an L shape. It doesn't have to be super perfect, or no one's going to see this. It doesn't. If you want to use a ruler to make the cuts. Do not draw Sharpie on your card. That was just me trying to show you where the card is. So no Sharpie. So now that you have this, you're going to fold up another card into quarters. You're going to put it in lengthwise. So not this way, but this way. You're going to push it in that way. And you're just going to push in the bottom layer of the card here. So that right here, that's what's going to go into here, like this, right? So you guys can see, so it's going to slide in. You know that you've made enough cut over when this can be pushed all the way center, pretty much. So this will sit center, and it won't be able to go any farther because the piece that sticks out will stop it, right? So there you go. So now you know that is the right cut. To figure out if this is long enough, open this up and push it down. If this, when it's pushed all the way down and it can't go any farther, if this is center, like this, then you know that this cut is long enough. That's how you can tell that you've cut both sides right, and it'll function properly when you're doing the trick. So, now that you've lined that up and made sure it's all right, bring it back to the top here. Fold it over. Actually, go back here. Stay in this position. My apologies. So stay here. Now you're going to see this card in the back. You're going to glue everything around this. Okay? So don't glue that. Okay? So here we go. Glue stick. I'm going to do this quickly, but you should take your time. Make sure you get all the corners, do it nice. Try and keep your card in the exact position here while you're gluing this. So, just push it down, make sure it's stopped. Because once it's glued and it's dried, this is the pocket that it's going to fit into, and you don't want it pushing into any farther than it needs to go. So just glue it nice. So there you go. So you've got glue all around. So once you have the glue all down here, if you want, you can make this gaff card a joker so that when you are finished this trick, you can take this card out of the deck to go into your next card trick if you don't want to leave this in your deck of cards. And you can say, actually, I don't want to use the jokers, and get rid of the joker. So this can be your excuse for ditching the gimmick. You're just going to lay this card face up on top of this. Turn it over. Make sure that this card is set like perfectly snug where it needs to go all the way in to the slot there, and just slowly work your way around, holding everything together. And you're just going to push the cards together. And just do this for a little while, just keep pushing it down and make sure that the card's there. And I just keep doing this to make sure it's perfect and that nothing pops up after. Because sometimes if you leave it for a minute, it might get a little dog ear or something might pop open there. So I just like to make sure it's nice and pushed, pressed down. And now I just let that dry. Once it's dry, you can take it out, and you'll have your slit gimmick there. And now you are ready to start learning the 2-card transpo, my friends. So that was how you made the 2-card transpo gimmick. Now we're going to go into how to perform it. So all you're going to need to do is take your gimmick, place it on top of the pack. That little flap here is just going to be facing, it's going to be to the top right. And Chris is going to pick a... Chris, go. Okay, well, we're going to pretend Chris is here. So Chris is going to pick a card. Cool. He's going to sign it. Wow, good job, Chris. And... And you're going to swing cut the pack. I'm hoping you know this. If you don't, go learn it. And they're going to place the card. Now what they're doing is because you cut the top, the gimmick is here. Okay. They're going to place their card down. Right? You go ahead and just drizzle it down. You do you guys know what that's called, where you just drizzle it down and offset it?
You dribble with like an in-jog?
Yeah, you offset it. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what that move is called. But you just gather the cards up from that point, holding a break.
Yep.
You're going to double undercut right to the top. Now Chris's card is on the top with the gimmick below it. So now all you got to do is go to Javier, which is here, which is great. And he's going to pick a card. Yeah, it could be any card. The Joker.
Nice.
He's going to sign. Now, hold on a sec. Now, while he's signing this card, I just turn the deck face up, like so. And you're just going to execute a Mercury card fold right here while he's doing that. All the attention's on him, so there's no attention on you doing it. You're totally good. Now, obviously, camera doesn't blink. You're going to see me do it, but in real life, you wouldn't see that. So in order to do the Mercury card fold, you're just going to have your thumb at the bottom. You want your thumb sticking out a bit so you have that ledge to bend it on. And then your fingers are just going to be at the top like so. And your first finger, that is the gimmick. Don't Mercury card fold the gimmick. Right? And then you're just going to put pressure with your finger, and it's going to push it down. And it's just your thumb and everything's going to push it together. And then you're going to use your thumb to bend the card around and just bring it flat to the bottom of the deck. Now, you don't have to squish it flat here. You just need to keep it like that. And you're going to actually push it farther in the routine. You're going to push it farther. So that's it. That's just the Mercury card fold part. Again, something I'm sure you can find many places to learn that. So now you know how to do the Mercury card fold. Of course, your hands are going to be down when you do it. Okay. But now that you have the card, the first person's card folded under the pack, so this would be Chris's card. So the deck, just to keep you up to point here, card was selected, swing cut, it was placed here, drop down, double undercut, right to the top. Now the person's selection's on the top with the gimmick below. You turn the deck face up because you want them to pick a card now. So this person's going to pick a card. So they're picking a card. Now the top card is Chris's card. I'm going to Mercury card fold it. Then I'm going to turn the deck over. So here's the card. It's folded under. And then I'm just going to turn the deck over because you're going to need the deck face down for the rest of the trick here. So now the Chris's folded card is now under the deck. That's all you are. They picked a card. They look like you've lost it in the middle of the deck, but in reality, you've Mercury card folded it and then turned the deck over. Okay? So that's it. So you're up to speed. So you're here. So now he's already signed the card. He was already done. You've done all the dirty work. You take the card from him or her. And now what you do, now that it's here, you're going to just slide this part of the card inside right up to where the crease is in the card. And it just looks like you're putting it on top of the deck to continue the fold, to continue pushing it down. And that happens really quickly. So you need that first fold. You don't want to make a move of this, right? You're just folding it and then placing it on top of the pack and then doing this. It's very casual. You don't want to look like you're feeding it into anything, right? So here, it's in. Now that you're in that position, you can now try and bend it right in half. And I'm going to do this slow for you guys so you can see. But you're just going to bend it in half and press down a little bit here. So now this is now inside of that slit right there, and it's holding it in place, right? So the cool part about this is when you close this, you push this down, you're also pushing down the card at the bottom at the same time. That's why I said don't worry about squishing it super flat and doing it when you're doing all that. Just do the Mercury card fold and get it done and leave it there. And then at this moment, now you're pushing this down, right? Yeah. And now you get everything nice and flat and you're good. And they don't know you're doing that at the bottom as well, right? Yeah. So now that's all squished, and you could just openly, just like this, right? You can be very open with it. You don't have to be sneaky about it and try and hide this card underneath. You're just pinching it at the bottom. And now you're going to re-grip. So from here, you're going to grab this with your other hand, just thumb and fingers on the bottom, holding onto that card, because you're going to need to re-grip to do this toss. So my right hand's going to come from underneath. It's going to put the index finger on the card to hold it there. So here, and you're just going to let that go. And from here, it's just going to be a casual, open up you're going to ask someone to open up their hands. Open up your hands, and as you do that, I'm going to do this in slow motion so you guys can see, all right? I'm just going to turn my hand over and then let that card go into my hand. Yeah. So in real time, right, it'll just look like you just shot the card into your hand, and it's a really cool switch, right? So here, boom. So now that you've done that, you just want to make it look like, okay, you folded it flat, open up your hand, perfect. Take that, pinch it for me. That's how fast it is, right? Now from here, you're left with the card on the back. All you need to do, keep your hand in the same position and just come out like you're doing a Hindu shuffle, but just take half the deck, right? Drop it into your hand. Place this on top of that. And just hold it towards them like this, and they won't see anything, right? You don't want to do it sideways. And just go ahead and place that back in the box and leave it on the table, right? So now the trick's done, right? The switch is already finished. Now at this point, they believe that that Chris's card was just shuffled or cut into the center of the deck, so it was completely flat and folded into. And so now it's lost. There's no way you can find it. It's gone. Now they just think that you just folded up a card, which is your card, the Joker, right?
Yeah.
And gave it to you.
Yeah.
Nothing seems amiss right now, right?
Exactly.
So now you can do whatever you want. It's totally up to you, your performance style. If you want to do, whatever magical moment thing that you feel comfortable doing or anything, or just saying exactly what it is. No, watch, I'm going to try something really crazy. Check this out. Watch.
Right.
No. Seriously, ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. Do something just to make like something happen, you know? And say, no, check it out. Open that up. And you know what? It's very important, though, that you reiterate who has what and where's what, kind of in a way, so that people don't get confused when they open that up and they're like, well, wait, did I have that? Like say, before you reveal or do any magic moment, say, your card was what? The Joker? That's right, the Joker.
Yeah.
And yours was the 4 diamonds, and it was in the center of the pack. Yours was lost in the center of the pack, right? Now you've just made sure that they know 100% that's where that stuff is. Now you do boom, do the magic thing. You say, no, check it out, open it up. They're going to open it up now. The card that was in the middle of the deck flat is now in their hand folded. Yeah. And all you got to do is come over here. Now, if you take these out, I would take them out face down, because that's how you're going to have to do it. So make sure you take the cards out face down. And you're just going to cut the deck. Now, because of the way that the gimmick's made, it won't go anywhere or fall around in the box on you or fall off when you're cutting it or slide around. It'll stay right there. So it's really nice. You come, say, look, in the center of the pack, complete the cut. Now, here, you don't want to slide this out, right? Because it looks a little fishy. So here's how you do it. You put your thumb right at the bottom edge here, and you push it forward.
Wow, that looks good.
As you hand it to them, and that gets it out of the clip. So now I'm going to go to the second person, right, which is Chris, the first person. I say, no, look, open it up. And now they open that up, and it's the opposite card, and it switch places. So that is the 2-card transpo. That's the basic routine that you can do with this. But I'd like to go over what else you could do.
Yeah, because this seems like it's more of a utility device. Like you can switch anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that opens up a few more doors now, right? Which we can go down the rabbit hole a little bit more, right? So, so let's get rid of these. We're done with that. So I'm going to go over with the bill now. If you want to do a little bit of mentalism opposed to just a switch, right? A switch out for something, you could do like if you ask somebody to borrow a bill, and you fold it up the same way, like where you come and you fold it. If you're doing a card trick to somebody, so say I just finished doing this card trick. This one in particular. I just did the transpo. You're like, oh wow, that's crazy, right? And they don't know you did a switch with the gimmick, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they don't know that happened. They just thought magic happened, right? So now you can borrow a bill, right? And you can place the bill in here and use the deck to fold the bill up. Say, can I borrow a bill? And then you have a duplicate bill underneath that you've memorized the
serial number?
You've memorized the serial number for underneath. Now, you can just have your own bill that you've memorized just folded. It's not like a trick where you have to pre-fold it in front of them. It can just be folded, right? So now that the bill's folded underneath, and you could just add that. I mean, when you're asked, like, say you're, did you like that trick? Cool trick, right? Whatever.
Yeah, really good.
Right? Cool trick, bro. So you're gonna, I can even say, could you go ahead and fold it in half for me?
Sure.
Or somebody gets you, and I could just reach into my pocket and pull out. I don't have the duplicate bill here, but you could pull out the duplicate bill at this point and just
as I'm folding,
and just put it right on top. And now I'm set to go. Now you folded it in half. I can continue folding it for you. You know what I mean? Just to hurry it up, right?
Yeah.
So from there, you can. I'm gonna come down here so you guys can see this. So you just peel like this, the last layer, the last little section. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't matter which one you put in there, but when you come to the thing, I mean, I would personally do it while it's still open a little bit, because that's what makes sense, right? When you come in and then you do the fold, right?
Yeah. Could you do it like this
Yeah.
so they can see?
Yeah. So you just need to make sure that this little lip here, that solid part of the fold, right, gets into there. That's all you're making sure, right? So if it's folded in half, that last bottom piece is just going in there. And then you're just continuing the fold here and pushing it down. And then you can say, actually, you know what? And then do the switch. Actually, you hold on to it. Get rid of the cards because you're done with the card trick, because you're cleaning up your card trick, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you just finished the card trick with the gimmick you're using a second time, but now you can use it for mentalism. So you did a 2-card transpo with that gimmick. Now you can read them. That's your bill, right? You whatever. I mean, you could even say something like where you do this and you could ask them if you don't. I don't think it's necessary that you get them to sign stuff for this, because you know what I mean. But if you wanted to say, "Oh no, just sign," I don't really think it's necessary. I would just go right into here. Hold on to this. Perfect. I'm going to get rid of the cards. I'm not going to say I'm going to get rid of the cards.
You just do it.
You just get rid of the cards. Trick's finished, right? I just used it to switch the bill.
Yeah.
That's all. Now.
And you use the deck to
you're
fold
like,
the bill.
That's right. Yeah, you used it to fold it and push it down, and now you get rid of it. So that is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So now you can just do the mentalism part of it, right? And you're done. And that is one other way that you could utilize that is with mentalism, right?
And you said this is a utility device, so what else can you use this for?
That's right. Well, there's something I was playing around with this, and it's pretty cool. It can be also used as a peak. So basically, so far we've covered the bill switch.
Yep.
Right after the card tricks. Now you can divine a bill serial bill if you want to.
Yep.
Right after finishing the trick, or the 2-card transpo. But now you got the peak. So basically, the peak is this. So you're gonna now. I have a black line drawn on my game. I just drew a black line on my card, so that you guys can. You may not be able to see it on camera, and you don't really have to see it on camera, so it's fine. But just in case you see that line there, that's because I drew black marker on it. Okay. Now you guys can see where everything is. So this is the Joker gimmick, the card on top, and you're gonna go through now. At this point for the peak one, it doesn't really matter which card they pick for this, even though they can technically pick whatever the card they want for this. I would give. Because they're going to write a word on one of them. So you want to make sure that you give the person who's writing the word a card that has a bit of white space on it, like 3s, 4s, you know, you get the idea, right?
Yeah,
So let's just say, for instance, at the beginning here, I'm going to because the first person is going to have the card lost in the pack, so that card's not going to be the one written on. So you can have any card picked for this. So let's just say you're person number 1 right now.
Okay.
Person number 1 is going to pick a card, and they're going to sign it. Perfect. So now you're going to do the same thing that we did before. You know, you're going to drizzle the cards. You're going to do the double undercut.
Okay.
If you want, you can do a false cut, whatever you want, right? Now you have the card on top, like before, and the gimmick on top. So that's what this part you're left in. So now you're going to have the next person not pick a card, but you're just going to give them one.
Okay.
So you're going to go in the pack and be like, here, so this is person number 2. This is the second person. This is a different person. Now you're not going to get them to sign a card, this card. They're going to write a word down instead. And that word will be like the signature as an identification of that's their card, right? So you don't need to get them to sign this. So what I usually do is in the top left corner, I draw a line because that's the part that's going to be peaked. Usually, say you're going to give them the marker and say, "Listen, I don't want to look. I want you to just to write someone's name, you know, or anything you're feeling. Just write a random word, or it can be anything you want. It doesn't matter to me, right? So get them to write whatever you want here.
Okay.
This is just going to be a mentalism thing, right? So they're going to write down a word. I'm going to turn around. Oh, while he's writing that. So while he's writing that, you're going to execute the Mercury card fold.
Yep.
Under the pack, just like we did in the original routine. So while and now you have a whole bunch of extra time because now he's writing a word, not just a signature.
Exactly.
So,
and you're turning around. You can turn around.
And I'm turned around, so I can Mercury card fold. That's right. That's another cool thing about that. So you don't have to, if you're worried about Mercury card folding, which you should, and you should practice and not worry about it. But if you are, you can turn around. Then you're going to turn the deck with the folded card in your hand over, right? So just as that, you're going to turn it over, and now the folded card's going to be at the bottom. So now at this point, I've finished all this. I'm going to ask him to fold the card in half. So I say, if you could try as nicely as you can, just fold the card directly in half to hide it. Are you done?
Yep.
Great. Now, you have two options here. You can take the card back from him and put it in the thing and then fold it. But I like the idea of it being completely folded.
Yeah.
Just for this version.
Okay.
So with this, I'd say if you could, fold it again right in half into quarters. And now he's going to fold it into quarters. Now when I turn around, now there's no way I'm peeking this. You know,
Yeah.
now it's in here, right?
Yeah.
So now what you do is you're going to, with my thumb, I'm going to pick up on the top 3 layers of the folded card. So you have your card here. There's this layer, the first one, the second one, and then the third one and the fourth one, right? You got all 4 layers here. Your thumb at the very corner, I'm going to show you here, it's just going to let the bottom one drop, just like that. And then you're just going to slide it in to the little slot you have there. So this all happens really quick. You're just going to take it back from him, right? You're going to just put it in there. And the reason you're putting it on top of the deck here is because you're going to push it flat. And you're using the deck as the thing. Now, at the same time, just like in the original routine, you're going to push this one flat at the same time. All right, so you're actually pushing both flat. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to place your finger on that. So you're going to re-grip from here to here, just holding that card there. So now this is just resting right here. You're going to do the switch, right? You come over, you're going to do the dump. So you're going to go, you're going to do the dump. You say, actually, could you hold on to that for a second? So now at this point, they believe that they are holding the card that has the word written on it.
Yep.
This is a good position to be in because there's no possible way that I can peek that when you're holding it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So now,
Yep.
so now I've done the switch. Now this card is under here, right? And all you're going to do is this is going to be different in this one because now you're going to peek what they wrote on this card. In order to do that, so I'm going to show you guys a better look at this from the back here so that you guys can see. So what's happening is, so they're over there. This is your view. Your hand's going to come over. It's going to open it up and push it in. And that's it. And that's all that's happening from the front. They don't see anything. It's just open and quick. And it's like a re-grab. You're just re-grabbing it. So it's in the, this is what it looks like in real time, right? From here to here to here. It just looks like you're re-grabbing the deck, and in the midst you actually opened it. So not open, you opened it and then pushed it down the slot. So now that it's here, I'm going to show you guys from the back. This is what it looks like from my view. I'm going to slide, as I go to grab the deck, my thumb's going to slide into the slot here, right? And I'm now going to start to go through the cards and push them. And as I do that, I'm going to start to open this up. Now, you'll see where you need to stop so that it's not flashing from the other side, right? So you'll know how many cards to go by. So don't open it up all the way yet until you know there's enough cards to cover it. Now I can peek his word. As I'm saying to the other person, your card is lost somewhere in the pack, yes? They're going to say yes. So that's what's happening from the front. So I'm going to go through the cards. So your card's lost somewhere in the deck, yes? Perfect. That's all that's happening in that split second. Now I'm going to show you from the back again, though, the thing here. So now the cleanup for that is once you're going through here, you're going to come back. As you're coming back with the last packet, you're just going to refold it, gather up the cards, and my fingers here just come down and do that, right? So
That's beautiful.
So here,
Yeah.
Now from the front, all I'm going to do is cut the deck from. I'm going to cut a packet from the front, right? Anywhere, doesn't matter, and place that behind, sandwiching that into the middle. My finger is staying on top of that, folding it flat, right? But because of the slot, it won't go anywhere. Now I just take that, I place it into the deck, and I leave it on the table, right? Now at this point, all that's happened in real time is They picked a card. They picked a card. That person signed the card. You lost that signed card in the pack. You just cut it into the pack. The other person picked a card and wrote a name on it. All I did was folded it up. They folded it up, handed it to me. I pushed it flat. I did a switch, handed it to you.
Yep.
They think I just gave you back your card.
Yep.
And the other card is just in the deck somewhere, right?
Yep.
So at this point, you're in a crazy position that you not only have you switched the cards, but you've peeked it at the same time. So now I'm just going to reveal what I know now.
Okay.
There's the word in there.
Yeah.
And you can reveal this any way you guys want to, you know. Whatever presentation, however you want to present it as, you know, letter by letter, you know, visualize the name. However you want to do it.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys decide that. I'll let you do that. So, but no, it's Brandon. Oh, so it's there's an R in there and an A. Oh, it's Brandon. You wrote me.
No.
Oh, that's crazy, right? Wow. Okay. So now you've revealed the word. Now you've done some mentalism. Now you have this little kicker ending, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So you say, no. So you can even say this. No. Brandon, right? Go ahead and show everybody because they think they're holding that name. So you say, no, look, open it up. Oh, wait a sec. That's your card.
Yeah.
How did that get there? You have that card. That was in the deck. Well, wait a minute. If that was in the deck of cards, now you just pull the cards out of the box. You cut the top half off. Because the folded card here is in the slot, it won't move anywhere. It won't go anywhere. So it's not going to slide around in the box. It's not going to shift around in here. It'll stay right there when you lift up the pack. And my thumb, just like we said before in the first one, is that little spot in the back there, that little the part that's into the clip. You're just going to push it forwards and slide it out of the slot because that looks like the most natural way to go give it to them, right? Opposed to pulling it out of the slot, right? So I'm going to say, so this you're going to give this to the second person now. So this will be the second person. You're going to go, no, look, open that up. The one you were holding is now folded up in the middle of the deck. There it is. Now you have the mentalism and the two-card transpo together. And that's basically the way of peeking a card using this if you really want to.
Yeah.
I know it seems like a lot, maybe because we just took the time to explain it, but in real time, the peek happens so fast. Like once you practice it a bunch of times, it's open, you peek it, your card's somewhere in the pack, close it, cut it. Here, that's how fast it is in real time.
Yeah, and it seems like it would be the same as if you were doing the two-card transpo. Instead of having somebody sign a card, you just have them write something and you're going to reveal it. So
That's
it
right.
shouldn't take any longer than...
No, it's almost pretty much the same thing. It's
same thing.
And that actually gives you, if you're really worried about that Mercury card full stuff, and it gives you that opportunity to kind of
turn around,
you
practice
don't have to
it.
turn all the way around, but you can even just turn a little bit around going, I don't want to look.
Yeah,
just go ahead and write
that's
something
perfect.
and do it really quickly as you're turning around.
Yeah.
Don't wait till you turn around to do it. Do it the Mercury card fold as you're turning around.
So you get used
and then
to how
turn the
it
deck
feels.
over, and by the time you've turned around, you've already done that dirty work. So now you can be still.
Yeah.
And then come back around going, okay.
And they won't hear
That's right. That's right. There's one thing I'll ask to say about this, and that's you don't necessarily have to do the two-card transpo to do the peak.
That's true.
Because if you use it, remember we talked about, with the business cards?
Yep.
If you wanted to just do mentalism with that peak and switch, you can technically have, let's just say these are my business cards.
Okay.
You can have, this is a business card of mine, and it's just, it's got nothing in it. Let's just say, or something, or whatever, right? That's just pre-folded under the deck. You don't have to do a Mercury card fold. It's just a pre-folded card under the pack.
Okay.
So now you're going to have them take a business card out, or just give them one. It's not like you pick a business card. So you give them a blank business card. They're going to write a name on it. You're gonna have them fold. Oh, it's okay. Use this. So you're going to have them fold it. You're going to do the same thing with this, where you let the bottom thing drop. You put it on. You're gonna do your switch. Hand it to them. Right. Now this part I haven't really thought that through about, like, if you're, because this part you're saying
you can just say, so you wrote something on one of these
On one
cards,
of
right?
these
And you're
cards.
thinking of it. That's it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I'm sure
That
there's
could work.
something simple like that. Yeah. So yeah, if you want, you can play around with the idea of maybe not using it as a two-card transpo, but just switching it out with something because they think they're holding their signed card. So now you can peek it, and at the end of the day, you could either do one or two things. You could do that thing where you destroy it and rip it up, going, actually, I
Or
don't
tell
know.
them, you know what, forget it.
Yeah,
You-
I'm going to rip it up, right, and destroy
Yeah.
it, or burn it. I don't recommend using fire, but if you want to burn it and destroy it, like in your show, you can
Yeah.
destroy it and then
Yeah.
just do direct mind reading. And this card doesn't come into play anymore. It's gone for good.
Yeah.
put it in your pocket because you peeked it.
That's it.
And it's over. So that's it. Those
Good,
are just
good.
some ideas and afterthoughts about this, but there's a lot you could probably do with it and explore with it. I mean, that's just what I've thought with it so far, but I'm pretty sure they might think of some other ways to use it.
Yeah, it's incredible how many things you can do with just one little gimmick.
I think it's important too that when you're like, I don't know how many people who are watching this are like people who like to dabble in maybe creating, or if they're just amateurs or professionals performing, I don't know. But I think it's fun, even if you buy a trick from a store or whatever, and even if you're not a creator, you're just somebody who buys stuff and does magic and loves it, and it's fun to kind of sit there and think about what else you can do with it. Like, and like I'm like, wow, this is what the person told me that it's doing in the trick, right? This is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how else could I use what they've given me? Because sometimes there's so much more that wasn't explored, because everybody thinks completely differently from each other, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's opinion stuff is very valuable, you know? Like if I'm sitting and jamming with you or somebody else, and you'll go, oh man, I got a great idea for that. And you're like, man, I didn't think about that. I didn't even think about it because I wouldn't have thought about it in a million years, but somebody else would. So that's what I love about magic and tricks, that there's, you know, it's almost limitless depending on your creativity and what you...
Yeah. And you're one of the most creative persons I know. So
Stop. High five.
yeah, high five.
High five. Nice.
That was really good. I can't wait to see what you have next.
Oh man, I got the craziest card trick you ever seen. You like, I
Did it rip?
Yeah. It's alright, don't worry about it.
All right.
It's gonna bug me.
Okay.
It's gonna bug me. Sorry, man. Hold on a minute here. There. Oh.
Huh.
Oh, there you go.
Can I see it?
Okay, yeah, you can see it.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
This is a great opener.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's go right into the next trick. We're gonna use a couple cards here. I'm not gonna use the jokers for this. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm gonna show you something really crazy. Ready for this?
I'm ready.
There actually is no trick after this. That was me. That was me bullshitting to get rid of the gimmicks.
Oh.
But this is just to show you that you can go into any card trick
card
from this
trick now.
point, right?
Okay.
Right. So, because I'm not going to do a card trick right now, just to show you can do a card trick right now. But so this is the box ripped and restored. It's not ripped and restored. It's just restored
Because it's already ripped.
because it's already ripped, and that was the whole thing. You know what? Let's go ahead and show you guys how to make this right now, right? So let's do that right now. So I'm going to show you guys now how to make your Oops, I Ripped It Again box. And you're going to need a duplicate box for the trick. You're going to need a duplicate box, one for the trick and one to cut up to make the gimmick, right? So you're going to make one of the boxes is going to be the gimmick and one of the boxes is going to be your performance box, right? So let's just say this is my performance box. You don't need to do anything to this, so just put it aside for now. Now you're going to make your gimmick. So I recommend opening up your box. All right, and then opening up the sides. There you go. Now you've got your open box. So all you need for this, right, is this section right here. That's all you're going to need. You don't need the bottom here or the sides, just the middle and the top flap. So if you want, take a ruler and cut, but I'm just going to do it freehand here so you guys can see it. All right, so you're just going to go, cut, perfect. Right? And now you're going to cut the other side. And you're going to cut the bottom off, like so. So, now this is the only thing you're going to need from the box to make the ripped box gimmick. So, you also will need a playing card, which will match whatever box you're going to use. And that's cool because you can make this out of any box that you use at your gigs or your shows, or just if you're a hobbyist, you can, whatever box you use that you feel comfortable with, you can make this out of. It doesn't have to be this color or this brand. So, of course, there's two different versions. One of them is the simple non-magnetic version, and the other one is the magnetic version. There's two different versions. I'll briefly go over the magnet one with you, but I think for the majority of you who are going to do this, I'm going to show you how to do the simple, easy version here. So all you're going to do is you're going to have to make a rip in the gimmick here. So what I did is I ripped it from just below. I'm going to draw on this so you can see. This doesn't have to be exactly how I have it. The rip can be anything, but basically from here, and then I ripped down here, and then from here, and then I ripped down here. So I'm going to show that to you guys. So basically, you want to go below. I'm going to draw a line across here. So there's a line here, and there's a line here. Those are the two fold lines. There's the one on the back there, and then there's the one right there. You want to make sure that your rip starts right below those lines. So leave a little bit of space here so that you can, so I'm going to start here. So there. Oh, and also, don't rip the piece upwards. You want to rip this piece upwards this way so that this part of the rip kind of, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but just so that it lines up with the box and kind of lies flush with it. But it doesn't matter, it's a destroyed box, so you don't have to be too worried about any of this. So there, again, this version doesn't have to be perfect, but you can make your rip however you feel you want to. But for now, we'll just stick with this. So that's basically the top part of the gimmick. The bottom part of the gimmick, you're just going to be gluing this to this, and that's it. So I'm going to go on the back here. I'm going to take my glue stick. Get yourself a nice glue stick. And don't glue any of this, right? So I'm going to show you. So basically from where your rip, let's just say I fold that back, you're going to glue everything else. Don't glue that. So here, there, make sure you glue it nicely. Give it a healthy dose of glue. All right. Now, all you got to do is stick this to that right there, and line it up to the very bottom here so you don't have to slice that edge off. Just line that up nice. Now you're going to have overhang on the sides here because the box is obviously bigger than the cards, right? But you're going to trim that off next. So that's it. So you're going to push that all down. Right, you can push on the table, push it down, get all the glue stuck to the card. Let that dry. I'm just kidding. Okay, we're not going to wait for this to dry. I'm just kidding. But I'm assuming that you'll just wait for this to dry before you continue. So let that dry. Now that it's dry, all you're going to do is you're going to slice off that extra bit of card here. So take your time here. If you need to use a ruler, use a ruler. I find it easier to just freehand it and keep an eye on it. See where I'm cutting. Go ahead. If you want to use scissors to trim that, go ahead. Just going to trim off all this. And then okay. And I also slice all the way up so that when I fold this, oh, I missed a little bit here. Take your time with it, don't rush it. You don't want to cut into your box gimmick, but you want it to get it flush so that, so there you go. So now, oh, cut a little here. There you go. Again, if you want to use scissors there and it's easier for you, go for it, but you get the idea. So you're just going to trim that all up nice so that and then you're going to fold back your gimmick here. So not your gimmick, but your flap here. Just going to fold that back. And that's how it's going to be. So from the front, if you can see anything hanging off from the sides there, just get your scissors and cut that off. But again, I prefer using a blade. Right. You get the idea, guys. So there you go. So that's your box rip gimmick for the regular version. We go over this in the tutorial of how to do this, but if you just have a little piece of tape, I put it on, you can put it anywhere you want here, it doesn't really matter where it is. Just stick it down there, and as you can see, you don't notice the tape. And that's going to stick that part down to the card. And then if you want to have this stick to here, just put a little bit of double stick tape right here. So I'll do that. There you go. Stick that down right on the inside of the flap there, because nobody sees that when you're doing the trick. Oh, and also this, I'm glad this just happened, because I forgot to tell you something, is when you put a piece of double stick tape down, oh, also you can use repositionable glue stick if you don't want to deal with double stick tape, and just put a little tiny bit of double stick glue there and a little bit of double stick glue there, repositionable glue there. If you are going to use double stick tape, first of all, this is super cheap dollar store tape, don't get that. Okay. I'm not going to point any fingers, right? But if you got really good double stick, like the good brands, and then burnish it down here, so you're just going to make sure you burnish it into the card there, so that when it sticks down and it comes back up, it doesn't come back up on here, it stays on the card, right? So you're going to scratch it in. Oh, what is that? Oh, look at that. It's Scotch, it's good tape. All right, that's good double stick tape. Oh, there you go. All right, so I've already put some tape on here, so we don't need to put more tape. But now this is all, it all stays together and it's ready to go for the instructions. So that is how you make your basic, no magnets, easy to make, out of the box, go ahead and do it, gimmick. Now, if you want to go ahead and make the magnet card version, listen, for all you guys out there who just want to do this simple version, this is probably your best bet for just making this super simple and super easy. I would recommend sticking with this and doing this routine, and it makes everything super simple and super easy. So I recommend doing this. From playing with this just to see if I can make it out of magnets, and having everything, the advantages are, I don't know if they're enough to go and order magnets and start to do all this, but if you have thin magnets, or if you're inclined to make this all stick together really nicely, then you can make the magnet version. So I ripped my gimmick apart so you can see what's happening. Basically, this is the same gimmick you made before. The only difference is when you make your rips, you want to make sure that this two sides here are wide enough to hold your magnets without sticking over the edges, right? So you're just going to tape those down. And then on top of here on the flap, you're just going to fold it flat and put two magnets, they'll stick down because there's magnets at the bottom here now, so they'll stick down. You can just glue them down or tape them here. And then your third magnet, you don't want to put it here. The one that's you're gonna stick this magnet here. So it's like 1, 2, 3. But these will stick here, but in order for this one to stay down, you don't stick it to here, you'd stick it to the back of a playing card. So here you can see I have the 3, right? So basically I stuck these with, like, you know where you put tape upside down? you put a little piece of tape, you stick it upside down, you know what I'm saying? And then you let the magnet stick, so you put the tape, so the sticky side is here, and you let the magnet drop on top, you know what I mean? So then make sure you lay that down nicely though and square it, so that when you lay this on top of your playing card, you can push it down once it's lined up and shift it over. And now the magnet, that's how I got that down to here, right? I just put reverse tape on there, put the magnet on, lined it up with the playing card, stuck it down so that it was lined up. And I did that so there's 2 there. And then the third one, I did it the same way, but that's going to be the one that holds this down. So instead of, now when you lift it up, now this is covered. I have this covered. So you're not going to see any of that. So that's going to stick down there. There's going to be, so those magnets are sandwiched in another card. Right? So that's all going to be glued down. So that's going to have a cover card glued on top once your magnets are lined up. That's going to be now, these are going to be glued down. So you're going to glue that all together, push that all flat, and then if you have extra magnets, you can make a magnet card, and it's basically the exact same thing. You're gonna take the cards here, and they're gonna stick with the tape, right? So you're gonna put the tape upside down. You're gonna stick the magnet on top, and then once the magnet will keep it down there. Once you get your 3 magnets in place that on top, stick it down. Now you'll get your magnets will be stuck underneath the tape there in the right position. Then you just take another card, glue that together. Now you'll have a magnet card holdout that goes on top of the deck. So this will be your magnet block. It'll go on top. It'll go inside the cards. And then this will now, once it's inside the cards, your magnet card, this will now stick to the magnet card and keep it all in place. And then I cut out another box and I covered it. Yeah, and I basically just peeled another card box and glued it all down to cover these 3 magnets up here, just that little section. So that's basically how I made this. It's just magnets holding everything down for this version. And now it sticks to the card box really nicely in your pocket. Like I said, I know most of you probably won't go to the trouble of making this. I know that. But I thought I'd share it with you anyway, that if you want to play around with magnets and you want to order some online and you want to make this, go ahead. But for the sake of completion, I wanted you to know about this. But like I said, this is very simple, very easy, and this does the job. This does exactly what you want it to do. You want to come out, you want to show the rip box, oh whoops, close it, and take your Joker away when you're finished, and you don't have to worry about all that other stuff. Depends how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. Alright guys, that's it. That's how you make the 2 different gimmicks.
Now that you guys have made your Oops, I Ripped It Again gimmick, it's a pretty cool name for the box rip gimmick, Oops, I Ripped It Again, but you can call it whatever you want.
All right.
Right. Basically, the gimmick you're going to have is going to be 1 or 2 things. It's going to be, where's the Jokers? I got it up here. Okay. So in the video, in the instructions, there was the tape version, which we have here. It's basically a card glued to part of a box, right? And you'll have your double stick tape in the places that we told you to put it in the instructions to make this. So that's one of them. The other one here is the magnet version, which it all just locks shut, right? And then we'll also have taught you. Now, of course, this is assuming that you guys want to go out and order magnets I'm going to teach you using the magnet version, but I'll also go over this after. Okay, so we'll put that aside for now. This is the magnet card that we also made in the instructions, and it will just stick to your gimmick like that, right? And this is going to go on the top of the pack. The part that, your flat part here, that's where the face down card is going to go on this side, like so. This is just going to go on top, and that's going to stick together inside of your pocket. This is a good way to do it too, is to have it closed, and that kind of keeps it nice in your pocket. So just have that in your pocket. Now, when I was first playing around with this, I wanted to be able to rip it and restore it. But obviously you can't fake a ripping, like you're not gonna, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you're not gonna, there's no way to make that seem believable that you're ripping a box, right? That's what I originally wanted to be, rip it and then restore it. But it didn't make sense. So the only thing that makes sense is if it's already ripped.
Exactly.
Right? And to me, that's funnier because I think if you're doing a trick to somebody that they believe is not a trick, because you're not presenting this as a trick at first. You are going to restore it, which is what a magician would do. You do something magical with it, right?
Yep.
But at the beginning, you're going to show them a card trick. So they're under the pretense that you're going to show them a card trick. That's it, not a box ripped thing, right?
Yeah.
So you're just going to come out and be like, oh, I'm going to show you something really cool or whatever. Hey, you're going to love what I have to show you. When you go to open the box, right, you're going to be like, oh,
Oops, I ripped it again.
oops, I ripped it again. Now, I don't know if I would say that in your presentation because that would be mean that you're really like sloppy and you rip all your card boxes like when you put it out. I mean, it's a funny name for the trick, but I don't know if you'd actually say that in your pattern. You don't want to sound like you're that horrible that you're always ripping your card boxes, right? But yeah, so you're just going to come out and you're going to open it up and you're just, don't pay attention to it. Don't look at it and be like, you know, just kind of open up the box and be like, and then after an afterthought, look at it and go, oh, don't make a big deal. Like, it's like, oh, I ripped that box. I mean, it's like, it's just like, oh, shoot. You got to play it down for this.
Yeah.
Like, cause it doesn't matter. The fact that you ripped a box, it's not a huge deal. It's not like, oh, I ripped my box. Like, it's, oh, I can't believe I ripped the box. You know, it's like, okay, that's okay though, because just instantly go right from, oh, so it's okay though. It's okay. It's fine. Cause I don't even need the box for this. And then you're going to close it. Now it's going to stick shut with the magnets and stay all in place. And what I do is I keep my finger here because I'm going to dump the cards out. And I'm going to dump them out this way, but from the back, right, I'm holding on to that. But the gimmick is going to slide out with the magnet card underneath and with the thing. So, but what's happening is I'm keeping my finger on the flat below so that it remains here. I'm dumping everything out. My finger stays on the flap. I place these on the table. If you want to put them right in your pocket for a second, like if you have a jacket pocket, you can just thumb those two gaff cards off in your pocket if you want to. But you can just put them on the table for now and then turn it around and leave this on the table, right? So you're just going to put it down on the table. And then maybe as an afterthought, because you're going to go right into a card trick. The pace of this is going to be, it's ripped. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I don't even need the box. You're going to put it down for a second. And then you're going to pick it back up and go, actually, you know what? That's going to bug me. You know what I mean? And now you're going to go ahead and fix the box and show them that it's restored, and you're going to hand it to them. Now, these are obviously going to be face up on the table, right? And you're going to, if you want to go right into a card trick with this, like if you want to go into doing a card trick, you just need to get rid of these two cards and they'll be stuck together.
Yeah.
So they'll stay together, but you can spread and say, actually, we don't need the jokers. You could even shuffle it a little bit, you know, like this, going into your shot and be like, oh, I don't need the jokers, you know, and just ditch them in your back pocket. And now you can go right into your card magic. Now you're left with a clean box.
Yeah.
And a clean deck.
That is very, very good. I can see the potential that this has. Just walk up to anyone.
Like an
And then
opener
it's
kind
like
of thing.
exactly. And it's oops, now you have to fix it.
Yeah.
So they kind of have to watch that. They don't have a choice. They're going to be impressed. So they're going to watch anything else you do afterwards. So I think this is a very, very, very good opener.
Thanks. Yeah, I do think it is a really good opening. That is the best time to do this at the very beginning because it makes sense. you wouldn't want to do a card trick, put it back. Like it only makes sense kind
Yeah.
of to do it as an opener when you walk up, right? Now, I don't know. I know that the magnet version, people may not be able. I know you can go online. I know you can get magnets nowadays everywhere and stuff. So this is the kind of thing that you would kind of put out almost on the market as a product almost, you know, but we didn't feel it was, you know, the best product to put on the market, you know, even though it's a cool trick and a cool little opener. So otherwise, this magnet thing is something you wouldn't necessarily probably get in the package or get made for you. But as you have seen in the instructions, it's not that difficult to make. It would need 4 to 6 magnets, depending on what you want to do with this. We'll go over that in the instructions. But this one, it's nice because it all stays together in the pack, and I'll show you why. When I go over the double stick tape version with just the card in the box, right? You'll see that there's nothing holding it now. We'll get back to it in a second, but I know you mentioned we were talking about you had the cellophane holding this in at the bottom. So we'll talk about that in a second because that might be a good solution for this. But the reason I like this is because like this just stays together and everything. And actually, this being tucked into the way this is, where you tuck it in, that might work for this version too. Because what I'm getting at is that I want it to stay together in your pocket and not have to feel around for the gimmick or line it up or anything like that. I want you to be able to come out and know that it's ready to go. And tucking it in might be the solution to that than the cellophane, which we'll talk about right now. So I think we're done with this the magnet version. So we'll put that aside, and we'll talk about this one now.
Okay.
So this one was just the basic card with the box stuck to it, right? As we said, there's a piece of double stick tape right here, and then somewhere on the card here, there'll be some. This is a really old gimmick that I had, so you may even see this nasty looking thing right here. But yours is going to look nice and fresh and new, and it you won't see anything of a fresh piece of double stick tape. So that's going to be there. And that's going to be there. And the only difference is, so as you can see, it looks like the box is like just ripped right open, which is really awesome, right? But you just, I mean, I think at the end of the day, that is your best solution without having to worry about cellophane. He was talking about if you had cellophane at the bottom on the actual box right here, that you would be able to, it would probably go just as low as, I don't know if it makes sense to have just that much cellophane on your wrapper, but it could happen because if you open up a package, it could just be that much left over from when you opened it, right? So if you want to explore having a little bit of cellophane at the bottom, you could slide this. Sorry, I'll do this here. You could slide this into the cellophane and make sure that when you make your gimmick in your card that it doesn't go past where like your cellophane is. Yeah, the rip. Yeah, you want it to just go to here then. You know, your rip would just go to here instead of down farther. But if you want your rip to be a little bit bigger like this all the way down, then just forget about the cellophane version and just tuck your card in. And that's it. And it'll go like this because there's no magnets holding it down, which is why the magnet version was cool, right? But it doesn't matter because I think that's enough.
And in your pants, it's going to stay together.
That's right. So here, I mean, here, look, I'll put it in my back pocket and we'll see. All right, so that's in my back pocket. Hey, I'm going to show you a cool card trick. Yeah, I mean, it stays together, so it's perfect. You're good. Now you open it up and, yikes, you ripped your card box. But it's okay, no big deal. Now you're going to close it. You're going to put your finger there like before. You're going to dump it out just like this. Everything's going to look copacetic. It's all done, right? You come here, you do your little heel, right? And you can go right in. I think instead of putting, like I said before, put the box down and then as an afterthought, it's going to bug me. I want to heal that. It's better to heal it right then and there. Once you've dumped it out, just go right into actually say that. Actually, no, this is going to bug me. It's going to bug me. You're like, just do some phony baloney, kind of whatever here. You know what I mean? If you like it a little bit. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Right? So you're just going to push it down like this and then just do maybe something like this, you know? Don't spend too much time here. It's obviously, you know, you're not a wizard, you know, right? But I mean,
you're a wizard.
Whatever, people believe magic, so that's why we're all here. Right, so 1, 2, 3, boom, heal, hand it to them, let them check it out. And then once they check that out, say, great, just ditch this, get rid of it. Take your jokers, say, actually, I'm going to show you an actual card trick. I'm going to show you what I actually wanted to show you. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry about that. You know what I mean? You can make it like, I'm so sorry about that. I'm like, this is embarrassing. Right? I'm sorry about that. That was embarrassing. Here. Actually, I don't want to use the jokers for this trick. I don't want the jokers, but that's it. That's basically it.
It's great.
That is the. Oops! I ripped it again.
Oops, I ripped it again. I love the name, love the trick. Incredible opener. Because it doesn't seem like you want to show them a trick, but you're showing them a trick. And then you're making it seem like the trick is not even that important, which elevates the trick.
That's right.
And then they're going to, I want to touch the card.
That's right. I really do believe that the strongest magic. They're all like, it's all about the presentation and how you handle your audience and audience management. And any trick can be powerful. Doesn't matter what it is. A thumb tip can be powerful, how you use it. It doesn't matter what the trick is. But when they're not expecting, when something's not being presented as a trick, that's, I think, more magical than coming out and saying, when I say, hey, look, pick a card, I'm going to do something with it. You don't know what.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's going to go, what's going to happen to it, if I'm going to rip it, restore it, do some crazy thing with the card, but I'm going to do a trick with this. When I come up and something's just amiss or something's wrong, it's not supposed to have been that way.
Yeah.
That to me is why I think this has got that cool thing to find it, because it's a mistake. It's something that happened to you that you're embarrassed about. You're like not maybe embarrassed about, but you're kind of like, oh, this doesn't usually, sorry, this doesn't, you could say this line, sorry, this doesn't usually happen to me. You know what I mean? Or like, you're like, and then make this very quick and very just, oops. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I ripped my box. And very nonchalantly, like, oops, I ripped it. I can't believe it. Like, it's not a big deal. You ripped a box. It's cardboard. It's cheap. No big deal. It's okay. You know what? I'm gonna show you a card trick anyway. Actually, this is gonna bug me. I want to heal it, finish it, let him do it, move on with your card trick, and make it a quick thing, not a big thing. Make sure this isn't a big thing. It's a quick, straight to the point.
Yeah, if you make it a straight to the point,
Right, that and sound effects.
you're turning it into a big thing. Yeah. Yeah, and I like also the other version because this is if you always perform with the same deck, but if you're always switching decks and you always get like new decks like the cherries or
Or
whatever.
you can just pop this off and pop a new card on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or you can make as many gimmicks as you want so they all match your decks.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm pretty good with that. I mean, I don't think there's anything else that I can say about this. I think it's pretty straightforward.
That's a really cool opener, but you're about to show me something really, really awesome.
I got something super dope to show you.
Oh, I can't wait.
Pretty cool, man. But you need to pick a card.
All right.
Yeah. You can just put it face up on the table there, and so now we'll get back to that. Are you happy with that? You want to switch it with a different one? They're all different.
I can just look at any card.
If you want, you can have it. You want this one, or you can have a different one.
I want to take a.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
This
Yeah.
one.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. Oh, why do you pick that? No, I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. Do you know the trick where they cut a woman in half? Push her into a couple different pieces and all that stuff. The stage illusions, basically.
Yeah.
The woman in the boxes, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to do that for you today, and I don't have any, and I don't want to do it. But I do have this cool little window I cut out of a playing card.
Okay.
There's two of them here together. You can go ahead and check it out. It is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and just place your card inside the walls. Can you take it? Yeah. Just go ahead and push it all the way in.
All right. There you go.
Cool. Okay. Take the marker and just sign your initials in the middle. And on the back. Perfect. And I'm gonna draw some arrows.
Nice.
These are my best arrows yet. All right. So the 5 of diamonds. Sorry, was it the 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 5 of diamonds was your card, right? Your signature's still on.
Yep.
It's still on the front and the back. I'm gonna place it on the face of the deck, right? Just so that you can see what's happening here. Okay. So watch carefully. Watch the arrow.
Wow.
Left.
Nice.
Down. 3 pieces, like.
That's better than half. That's in 3.
Yes, it is. Look, you can just
Oh.
push it back all the way in. And believe it or not, your signature is still
Yep.
there, right? Check it out. Your signature's on the front as well.
Yep.
Yeah, look at this. You know what? I'll let you take it out all the way. Ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, the zigzag card with a signed card, any signed card. What do you think of them apples?
I love this. This is really good. This is really, really good. And it's better than sawing a woman in half. You're sawing it in three.
That's right, and you don't have to pay a woman to do it because you don't need an assistant. Well, it's true, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That was really cool. Do you want to get into how it works?
yeah, I think we should go into making how to make this. This gimmick is out of the whole lecture is going to be the one that's going to be very time consuming. I don't want to discourage you from making this. Again, this is one of those ones that probably could have been like a product that was on the market that you would have had in the box, but I wanted you guys in the lecture to be able to just make it yourselves and do it, because it is all made of just, easy to get supplies and playing cards. It's not,
Yeah.
it's just going to take you a little bit of time. It's not difficult, but you're going to have to spend some time doing it. So I just wanted to say that because I don't want you to
one-time thing.
watch the video and get super bored watching the instructions of how to make this. I want you to stick through it, make the gimmick, which is this right here. So here's your gimmick. I'm just going to show it to you right now before we get into it. And it's basically this going on all right here. And and then your envelope here. So this is what you will be making, okay? This won't take too much time. You're basically cutting out windows and then making little pockets for these cards, right? That's basically what you're making. We'll get into the handling after, but please make this. Make it, do it, just get your supplies.
Yeah.
Get down, and I'll take the time to go through with them how to do this properly, because I've gotten a lot of reactions from this trick, and this isn't me just saying, "Oh, this trick awesome, it's great." I actually have gone out, I've performed this for people at many events, and people are just like, what the f, you know what I mean?
It's something completely unexpected. You're not.
Yeah, it's happening right in front of their faces.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. But before we get into the explanation, let's go ahead right now and get into how to make it. We are now going to dive into how to make your zigzag gimmick. Stay with me, guys. All right, this is going to take you a little bit of patience, so this will be your practice for your patience right now. But I promise you the payoff is awesome when you start preparing. And once you make this, you won't have to make it again. Like it'll last you a long time. I had the zigzag card gimmick for a very, 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 like years and years. I was like playing around with it, using it, and I didn't have to replace my gimmick. So just know that once you make this, it'll last you a very long time. So what we're going to make is you're going to make this little window card here. We're going to make that first. I'll get that into a second. The second thing we're going to make is this little pocket card. Okay. For this pocket card, just so that you have it ready, is you're going to need just a regular red card. Now, again, just before you begin making all this, I want you to know that we have the blue gimmick. So basically, this right here is going to be on. I use a red deck of cards. The reason I'm using a red deck of cards with the blue gimmick is because of the contrast. It's just the window and everything, like it pops out at you. It looks really nice. You get the contrast of the blue with the red, and then when you do the face up part, you get to see all that contrast, and that's what pops that illusion really nicely. So you have to decide if you want your cards to be blue, then you would make your gimmick out of the red card. Okay? So don't make the gimmick out of the same color cards that you have, because having the red card with the red sleeve and everything together, it's too much red and not enough contrast. So that's why we made it a different color. I highly recommend you do it this way, but it's totally up to you what you want to do. So we're going to put this aside for now, and we will get back to that later. So also you will need to get, just in case you have it ready, underneath this pocket gimmick, you'll notice that we have the 3 of diamonds showing as the red card on the back. So that will be the back card here. So get one of these. Whatever card you're going to have as the face card that you're going to lay down over top, to do it, that will be what card you make this out of. So if you say you wanted this to be, you know, a queen or whatever else, that's the card you would choose to make this out of. So get that aside, whatever you want to use. I like the 3 of diamonds. I recommend it, but it's up to you which one you want to use. Okay? So I'm going to put that all aside for, oh, and you also, to make these little things here, you're going to need the back. The face doesn't matter, but you're going to need just a red back. So for sake of purposes of explanation, 3 of diamonds, red card, red, whatever card doesn't matter, red back, and we will get to that in a bit. Okay, so that'll be all put aside for later. For this, you're going to need 2 blue cards. Okay, so I have 2 blue cards. I started the process here a little bit before you just start, but so just grab any 2 blue cards. It does not matter if you want these to be 2 jokers that are inside of here, then make them jokers. But it doesn't matter. Nobody cares when you're doing this trick what they are. Just it's supposed to look like just regular cards. That's what makes it so, you know, innocent looking. But anyway, so let's keep this in frame so you guys can kind of still see that. You're going to now don't draw on your card. Just so you know, do not draw a marker on your card. No. Right? This is a guideline so that you guys can see exactly where I make my cuts. Okay? Now, I'm going to hold this up just a little bit for you guys to see. This is the box, how I line everything up nicely so that I have a guideline to start making all of my windows. So I draw around the angel head. You'll see basically the very top of her head will be corner to corner. So it'll go right over top of her head. And that's where you're going to make your first lines there. Now, if you want, you can take a pencil and like just a nice pencil and make your pencil lines there so that you can actually have something to go by while you're cutting these out. It just makes it a little bit quicker and easier because you want these lines to be as nice as possible and as straight as possible so that when you line everything up, no little edges stick out past and it's all offset and weird. So, so let's go ahead and do that. You're just going to place your tape down here and leave it sticking out of the edges a little bit. Okay, so down there. Okay, so what you want to do is basically create this like just box around just a little lip because you're going to cut out of all here. So now you're going to want these 2 cards to be face to face with each other, right? Because that's how you want them to be cut out. So don't stick them together like this, right? Face to face. So line up the cards nice as you can. Okay, just make sure that tape sticks. Okay, all right. Now you're just gonna okay. So as you can see now, there's tape trapped into the center there, and now you can use that to make sure that when you're doing the trick, when you're cutting it out, it stays down. Right? If you want, you can. And now, it won't go anywhere. All right. Life's good. So there you go. So now this is stuck down. Now your card won't shift around when you're making your cuts and drawing it all out. So again, like I said, around the angel's head, all the way around the box. Now you're going to make a line that goes just, or I'm going to say right around her eyes.
you want to go from edge to edge and basically make a pencil line right there. Okay, so now, as you can see, I went straight through her eyes. She didn't feel a thing. Okay, so there. And now you're going to do the same thing down here. You're going to go straight through the angel's eyes. Again, do not use marker on your gimmick. This is just me showing you, okay? So this will be a light pencil line that you can cut out with your X-Acto after, okay? Use a pencil. If you don't want to use a pencil, you don't have to make any markings on your card. You can just see how I've laid this out, and then you can just accordingly cut it out if you feel you can do that. But I really strongly recommend that you make all of your pencil lines so that when you cut everything out, it's perfect and lines up nicely. So now the next one is going to be, you want to leave enough space in here so that when you actually make your other gimmick here, because there's going to be a strip in there, which we'll get to later, but there's going to be a strip in there, and you want to have enough room to glue that down in there. And so I recommend, because this window here doesn't have to be this wide. It can be a little shorter, like a little smaller. So I recommend that. So I'll make that exactly how I think it'd be. So I'm going to say just at her handlebars. So just below her handlebars, where she's holding onto the bicycle. See, my line's a marker there, so it's a bit fatter, so it looks like it's straight through, but I would go just below her handlebars. Same thing here. Basically at her crotch. All right. Do you have another Sharpie anywhere?
Yeah.
All right. Does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
No, it looks like you just grabbed it.
All right, so I'm just going to color this a little darker here so you guys can see this. Okay. Now you can see basically through her eyes, through her handlebars, and I'm going to color this in here so you can see exactly what is being cut out. So you're going to cut out that section. You're going to cut out that section. And you're going to cut out that section. Everything else is going to be left behind. The borders, the two strips going across, you're going to leave those out. Now, the reason that you tape this all down nicely and sandwich that bit of tape in between the cards and push down really nice is that you want this staying solid and together when you're going to make your cuts now. Do this very slowly and do this very slowly and take your time. And you're definitely going to use a ruler here. Okay, no freehanding this one. Okay. So just go over your pencil lines. So angel head. And hold down your ruler nice and tight. Now, you're only going to make a slice. I personally like to keep going because the ruler creates this like line, but you don't want to cut all the way down. You definitely don't want to do that. You'll have to start all over again if you do that. So don't cut all the way down. You're only going to cut where it's blacked out. So from here to here, skip over that bar right here, skip over it, cut that out, skip over that little section because you want that attached, and then cut that last little line there. I like to do that all at once opposed to doing that one little ones, and then it's nicer. So I'm going to do that now. don't put too much pressure where you're like forcing down the card. You just kind of want to give it a nice, just go in. And I like to do that until I know I've gotten down to at least the second layer, right? You can always do this if you have to go down a little deeper. You can do that after. You don't have to get it right away so it's all the way through both cards. But skip down. Next line. Next line. If you do this nice and slow, you'll get through both cards nicely. Like I said, this is a bit time consuming, but you got to do it. So here, now I'm going to skip down, skip over that bar. Don't cut that bar, or you'll be sorry. All right, so there. Okay, so now I've made my 3 cuts here, this middle section here, and down here. I like to now, you can cut the other side. In order for you to have a good eyeball of where you're cutting, instead of trying to lift this up and turn around, obviously just take your cutting mat and turn it around, because now you can see where you're cutting, opposed to like, if you do it on this side, you don't know where to stop, right? You want to see your lines, you want to see your bar lines, so you know where to stop. So again, line it up, your ruler, with your line there. Start from the angel head. Just go down a little bit and stop. There you go. So again, I'm going to pass over that bar. Go down. Go down. Go down. So I just sliced that middle box. Skip over your bar right here. Go down here. Make your next slice. Try and get through the 2 layers if you can. You'll feel it when you go through. You'll know that you're hitting the rubber. Okay, so now you've made your cuts on either side. Now turn it sideways. And now I like to go from the middle out. So now you're just going to cut this section out by cutting the line here and here. You're going to cut those across, okay? So here, nice and carefully. Do this really slow. You don't want to slice by accident and go too far and destroy your card. So this is something you really got to take your time with, and you really got to be careful. You don't want to rush through this, because if you rush through it and you make a mistake, you'll just end up being mad that you got to make a new one, and I don't want you to be mad. So take your time. All right. Okay, so now again, I'm going to turn it around just so I can see exactly where I'm supposed to cut. Again, nice and carefully, just cut across. And you'll feel when you're through it. Okay. Don't peel any of the cards out or pop them out yet. Just leave everything there, and then continue on. So now I'm going to cut here. Across this line. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this top line across. From the angel head to the angel head, just like you drew out. Okay, so this one came out, that's fine. Keep making my cut. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to now make I'm going to do this line right here. And then move down to the last line and go across. And as you're doing all this cuts, you just keep telling yourself how awesome a reaction you're going to get when you're done this. All right, so now I've pretty much made all my cuts. So now it's just a matter of carefully going through. As you can see, this one was cut, so there it is. And again, carefully go through. Okay, that one's cut out. And then I'm just going over the lines again really carefully, nice and slow, so you don't overcut and slice some of the card you're not supposed to. So there it is. And if a card's still attached like a little bit like this, don't tear it off or rip it. Actually go back and just make that little tiny cut at the corner so it cuts nice and straight. You don't want to rip the corners at all. So, okay, so now I'm going to go. Then make sure this one, again, take your time. There you go. So there's that. And like I could see down here before you stick the cards away. See, that looks pretty perfect right now, but I can see there's like a little bit sticking out of that bottom one. So I'm just going to carefully just trim that with the razor, because you want those windows to line up on both sides. Like this. All right. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now you can carefully just lift up your tape here. And as you can see, you've got your, now this is the window gimmick. And you won't have any marker on yours, right? You didn't draw marker on yours, you used pencil. Like I said. Now, keep that aside for now. We still have to tape the sides hinge after we pull this apart. But for now, we're going to keep this together. And we're going to make this now. So basically all you need is this card. So this will be the 3 of diamonds, which matches the back, right? That's going to be your back card here. All right, so put that aside for now. And you're going to need that, which is these are going to be these pieces here, right? That's the whatever card with the red back. Put that aside. And just one more blue card. It doesn't matter what blue card this is, because no one's going to see the face of this in this gimmick here. No one's going to see it, so it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to now trace out the exact same shape here. So what I did was I lined up this over top of the playing card here. And because the tape is here, I just lined it up. And bent the tape over top of the gimmick like this. So I just folded it over. And again, you want to make sure this is lined up like perfect. Fold it over. So the tape's there. Now this tape isn't the greatest, to be honest, but if you get a good double stick tape, this will be fun. So now you don't need to do all the sides. The top and the bottom, I'm sure, are good for now. But you're basically going to just stick that down to the table. And you can just take a razor if you're really careful. If you want to take a pencil line and cut it out and then peel that off and cut it out just by penciling that line, and you can do that. I am just going to carefully go around and cut it out without drawing the templates or pencil lines. So just carefully, nice and gently, make your cut across. Don't cut too hard, like too deep right away. Just give a nice little score. There you go. And make all of your... Now, if you have to, hold down these little bars in the middle when you're making your, like your cuts. Nice and gently. And pinch that down tight so that this doesn't lift up on you when you're making your cut. This is important that, you know, this lines up nicely. So there. I'll do that when I turn around. So basically just cut this out. You're going to cut the windows out. That's it. Of the card on the bottom. Okay. So there. Now I'm going to turn this around. And okay. Now I'm just going to go onto the sides here. If you drink coffee, now's a good time to get one and get a cup. Alright, so that's there. Alright, so I think that's all cut out. Just want want to make sure I got all the sides. Yep. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure I can just lift that up now. And you're going to peel this all apart now nice and carefully. Do this slowly. You don't want to go ripping your cards apart and messing them up at this point. So I'm just going to peel carefully this away. All right. Good for that. Now, those two are going to be, these two right here are going to be stuck together. Keep those together. Those are the two that were sandwiched face to face. Keep those together. This one that you just stenciled out, you can flip it over. You can see the cut lines. If you have to make, little cuts to get that perfect. All right, so there's the top one out. That's going to be the middle. There's the middle. Again, I'm just taking my time, making sure I cut it out nicely. I don't rip or tear anything. Like I said, it's not difficult, just time consuming, that's all. Okay. So now you have the top part of the gimmick here. So this is going to be this top part. So we'll get back to that in a second. Let's go ahead and get yourself some really good, now this is just, they happen to have Scotch Magic tape here, but if you have that really good, it's like that glossy, super sticky, it's just a lot stickier and it's more permanent tape than this, but for now I'll use what I got. Just take a strip off. You're going to place it You're going to place it across the long end here. It's okay if it overhangs. It's fine for now. Just put a piece across. And you're going to make sure that when you... Oh, you're also going to need to cut your tape. My scissors here, but you're going to trim a little bit of that tape off because you don't want it to overhang over... You could just use scissors for this. I'm just going to slice that up there. All right. Get off my fingers. All right. Do you have a pair of scissors here? Because this tape's just really fragile. Okay. So, there you go. Trim that off. I just wanted to make that. So I just trimmed a bit of that tape down so that when you put these two together, oh, and also make sure that you line it up
if it's turned around the wrong way, it won't line up perfect anymore. So just make sure that's good. Now you're just gonna, I would leave a tiny little bit of space. I'll show you here in a sec. Leave a tiny gap. Don't put the card side by side perfectly. Flush. You want that little bit of a gap so that the card pops in nice and easily when you do that. So now you're just going to take just any random card. Oh, well, first I'm going to chop this off. Perfect. All right, there you go. So now that hinge is done. I would take whatever, the back of a glue stick or the end of the razor or whatever you want, your fingers, and just make sure that tape is pushed into the card so it's nice and, you know, stuck into it and won't peel away. There you go. That's why it's important to use a strong, nice sticky tape here. Now, see, now when you close it, it'll be just like we cut it. Now you're going to put a plain card inside of it in order to make the last part of this. You don't want to do the tape hinge on the outside, which is the obvious way of making this, right? Just put a piece of tape on the outside and push it flat and you're good to go, right? But you don't want, your gimmick's not going to have tape on it, so your card can't. So and it would look stupid on the outside anyway. So you got to make this way. So another piece of tape, another strip. You're going to put it on the open end here, just on one of these sides. So I'm just going to lay this on the table. So here. Stick that down. Trim the edges off. And you're going to want to cut a nice little piece of this off just so that it doesn't overhang in the windows here, right? You want it to just be enough that it'll stay within that, right? Now you're going to place the card in, and all I do is I'm going to bend the tape over top of the card. So this is the sticky side right here. So I'm just bending it back and pinching it over the tape. Now when you're basically just going to tape this to this, but what I do is I start at this end and I line up, and you want to make sure that tape's pushed down with your thumb. I'm just folding it down flat here. And you're just going to come up and line up the card. And my thumb, you see my thumb here, is just going to ride down the tape here as I'm sticking it. Right? So here, push it nice and tight there. And my thumb is just making sure that that tape stays tight and being pulled downwards, you know, so all the way to the end, just like that. And now you got yourself a window. So that is your window card right there. With the card inside of it, again, I would just
you don't want to damage your card, like, make it all, but just lightly go over it. Just to make sure that your tape hinge, gets nice and stuck to that card on the inside. There you go. So that's it for that. All right, so this is how you make the 3 of diamonds, the back here. This is how you basically do that. You're just going to, for now, I'm just going to tape. Just going to get a bit of double stick tape. Okay, so what you're going to do to cut out this part right here. So this part, the red card, you're going to need your 3 of diamonds, okay? And I just put a little bit of double stick tape on my cutout window, like this. And I'm just going to stick it exactly how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to line it up, stick those together. And you're going to cut out nice and carefully the center so that it's exactly the same size, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. You can just lightly score it here and then cut it out once you peel the cards apart. So you don't have to worry about cutting this completely out while it's taped together. Just a nice light cut. That. Now you can just take the card apart. You don't need the tape anymore. And you're going to just complete, nice and carefully, just finish that if the corners need to be. Go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, so now we've cut this out, and now you've got the card that you need here. So now the next phase is going to be this. You're going to take, I'm going to cut a little strip of this off so you can see. You only need, you can see here, a tiny little strip. I cut it straight across the card, so the entire length. You're going to take that little strip, you're going to glue, so get your glue stick, right? You're going to glue the back of that. You're going to push it down, and it's going to go from edge to edge, and it's going to go right in the center. You're going to push it down right there. Now I already have them on here. I glued them on here. I only wanted to cut it out of the blue so you can see. But if you take a quick look, you can see right in the center of the bar there, it runs from edge to edge, and the same up here. So you want 2 strips from edge to edge. Once you have those, you're going to take a piece of tape and you're going to place it on the edge like this. And then the other one down here, like so. So now if you make a tape, just obviously trim the edges off if it's longer and cut it a little shorter so that it doesn't overhang in the window and you don't have to slice it through there. So make sure that that's like that. Now this card's going to be like this, right? So, okay. So all you're going to do, line it up as best you can. If you have to readjust it and it doesn't line up nice here, then you can always unstick it and realign it. But that is going to be your top. The only thing that's sealing this in is that, and then those two strips will be glued. Okay, so so once that's in, here you're going to want to put glue on this strip right here. Do not glue the entire panel here so that there's glue all over the place. You really want to just, you know, take your time here and just put a bit of glue. It's okay if a little bit gets on it because basically you're creating a slide for that thing, and you don't want glue, you know, bumpy glue to kind of get in your way there. So, you know, just try and use the edge of the glue stick and just run it across. Make sure you glue this nice. There you go. So now what's going to happen is you're going to close this off. You're going to bend this here and press it down like this. So you're basically folding it. And you want to line up the card like as you're going to the top, you know, just kind of push that down because that's going to start to stick the glue of the strip down. And you're going to work your way up until you get to the card. And just take your time doing this. This is in my mind the trickiest part of the build here, is just getting this together, but it's not really. I mean, if you just follow what I did, and you'll get the knack of it. So now that that's done, now that that's done, you're pretty much home free. It's just a matter of now you're going to make these little pieces, which is why I said put your random red card aside for later. And all you're going to do is, this is going to be a trial and error thing depending on how big you made your strip and all that stuff. It'll all vary on size. You want it to be not too loose where it's wiggling around too much. You want it to be like, but not too tight that it's too much pressure to push it in and push it out. So you're going to feel around. Let's just say I'm going to cut just above the angel's head, let's just say for this. So I know right now that that's probably, it's too short above the angel's head. So I'm like, okay, great. Well, I'm going to cut below the angel's head now and straight across. So now I've cut just below the angel's head, and I'm going to test it out, and I'm just going to pop it in there and see if it works. No, it's just a little bit too big. So I'm going to cut half of her head off and work my way down and just see. There you go. So now, of course, before you do all this, make sure that when you pinch these cards together, that your card gimmick here is completely dry before you start shoving all of the card pieces in, because you might shift around that bar in the middle and it'll mess up your slide and everything. So listen to me carefully. Make sure that this gimmick is dry before you start doing anything with this. Leave it for half an hour, even longer. Then come back to it, and then start to cut your pieces and start to fit them. But once you get them fit, guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, you now have your window, and your gimmick, and fits right on top. Of course, from above, looks great. And that's everything that you need to do to make the zigzag card gimmick. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I hope you still stuck with me. And if you did stick with me, you guys will be happy that you did. So give yourself a pat on the back and a high five.
All right, guys. So now that you know how to make it, I'm hoping you stuck with it because I know that was really long process of making it. So hopefully you did it and you got yourself a cool little pocket gimmick right now. And we're going to go ahead and take you from the very top. All right. So
All right.
what you're going to do now, I just want to say this at the very beginning too, is that I drew arrows on these little pieces. These pieces obviously come right out. They can go, because of the way the card gimmick was made, it can go either way. Either way? Either way.
You can say it either way.
Either. You can say it either way. That's funny. So you can draw whatever you want on here. And the reason I'm saying this right now at the beginning is because the presentation can be anything. Like you could even write zig on this piece and zag on this piece if you want.
Yeah.
You can leave them blank. It could just be that you see the signature in the center of the card and you're just pushing the pieces over and that's all there is to it. You don't have to do all this drawing on the card if you don't want to. So having said that, I'll leave it to them. I'll leave it to you guys to make this any way you want it. And also keep in mind that you can have, if you want to do different presentations for different people, you could have 2 of these pieces, extra pieces made in your pocket with other things on it. Say I wanted to do the arrow version for you. All I'd have to do is pull these right out, go into my pocket, get the other 2.
And change your presentation.
Yeah. And you could just do whatever you want and change them up because they're easy just to take in and out, right?
Yeah.
So, that's it. So make it however you want. Change these out if you want. You can make them different colors, obviously, different color backs, different things. You can change this any way you want. Now, also, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what's the setup? How do you start it?
Yeah, so basically, you're going to have this face down on top of the deck. And you're going to have the window card on top. Now, there'll be a certain way when you cut the cards out that will match because how you've cut them all out. And that will match up with your window so that this is going to hide. If you're worried about this like stepped out hole right here, you don't need to because at the very beginning, this is just going to be on top and you're not going to see anything.
Yeah.
So all you're going to do is have this in your box and you're ready to go.
Okay.
So you're going to pull it out. Keep this on top first. Spread through the cards. If you want, you can show them. They're all different. And then have them take one. So now they've taken the card, you're going to introduce this. Now, you can just put these face down. You can put this face down on the table if you want, and then talk about this. Yeah. So we have this window. You can make whatever presentation you want. I made this at home. It doesn't have to be some, and that's another reason that I love this is it's not a magical plastic prop or something that you're using that looks like a magic prop.
Yeah.
It's just a playing card that's actually been cut out. So to me, that's it's less.
It's almost like saying if I had the box, I could cut a lady in half.
Yeah.
But this is what I have, so this is what I'm going to show you.
Yeah, and just the fact that it's a playing card.
Yeah.
It's not a gimmick looking thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like a gimmick to them. To them, they're holding it. That when you held that for the first time,
No,
it's just a window with 2 cutout cards, right?
Yep.
All right. The original trick, before I continue with this, the original one I bought was it was the zigzag card in that big plastic frame. It's like a kid's trick. It's a big giant thing.
Yeah.
And I always loved the zigzag card. You know, but there's this big giant thing you got to bring to. Like I'd go and show somebody and they're like, let me see that. You're like, no. They're like, no, you can't see that because you're going to see the gimmick that's in the plastic thing. I'm not going to show you that. Right? So I'm like, well, that always bugged me that I couldn't show that to anybody. So that's why I kind of
came up with
this thing. And I was like, man, I'm like, I want something that can just seem innocent in a way. Like just here. Okay. So now they have this. They see it's ordinary. They see it's regular. Now you're going to take the card from them and you're going to place it face down into here. Now, I want to say this too before, but when I made these, because the holes, I'm going to take the gimmick out here again. I just want to, this is important, is let's just say I turn this way. There might be a little, it might be off. Do you know what I mean? Like this window, see here, how that kind of sticks out?
Yep.
So your gimmick should be oriented so that when you make your cutouts, that everything is lined up perfectly, right?
Yeah.
But
Can you show it flat like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So that's properly set.
That's perfectly cut out in the windows, and that's how I cut my gimmick out so that it perfectly matches the windows, right? If I turn this the other way, it might offset the windows and everything will be aligned,
Yeah.
off aligned.
Yeah.
Everything will be unaligned, right? So what I do to make sure that when I'm performing this is on your card, if you want to make like a little blue dot or somewhere to darken, if you want to darken the corner or make a little marking of whatever you want to do, whatever is not so obvious,
Yep.
you know, just right in the actual blue part here, make a little black dot or something like that, you know, just enough. No one's going to notice it. So you got two little black dots, or black out one of the white bars or something like that, just so
Yeah.
that you know that when these two are together, that it's in the right position. You don't have to worry about the orientation when you're doing the trick.
Okay.
That's important. Cool. Now, having said that, this is where we were before. So we had the deck on the table, right? I was taking your card and placing it in here. Now, I know the black dot's there, so I know that I'm not putting it in this way. Do you know what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
So when I do it, I know that everything's going to be, I need to put this in face down so that the black dot has the face down part here. Okay, so that's important. So now I start to put it in a little bit, and then I hand it to them. And then I said, go ahead and put it in the rest of the way. And while they're doing that, I pick up the cards and just keep them, I keep them in a wrist kill, just like this. I just casually bust by my side if you're standing, you know, just by your side. And then I take it back, place it on top of the pack. Now, when I take it back from them, I flip it over because I want them to sign this side first.
And you're killing your wrist also, so they don't see the hole, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm down here, and basically you're just coming up at the same time as you're coming back from them, right? And you're just putting it on the deck face up. So you're holding it. I'm just by my side. Perfect. It happens. You know,
Yeah,
nobody even knows. It's done.
Nobody's looking.
Yeah, nobody cares. It's true though. All right, so sign your initials there. Perfect. All right. If you want, you can blow on it for a second, let it dry, but you don't have to. Now you're gonna legitimately turn over the actual. You're not gonna do anything with the gimmick yet. You're just gonna just turn this over. Now, if you want, you can turn it over this way. So now you just signed it. You grab it from the top, and this might help hide your. So from the front, you're not going to see that.
Yeah.
Right. So that might be something you guys like. From here, right, just to here, you just turn it over. Now you don't have to worry about that whole thing in the back, right? Which you don't have to worry about anyway, but that helps hide it if you're worried about that. Now they're going to sign the middle of that. So they just signed the face of that middle, and now they sign the back, right? Whatever you decided to put in these boxes is where you're going to redraw it now on their actual card, because this is their actual card, right? So for me, it was the arrows. So I'm going to draw the arrows. A tip, don't draw whatever you're going to draw here perfect. When you make your gimmicks, don't make your gimmicks so perfect. And then when you go in because in real-time performances,
You're not
you
gonna
always
get it
do things
perfect.
quickly, or you're
Yeah.
not going to spend so much time making it perfect like you would if you were sitting at home trying to make your gimmicks, right? So try and make your gimmicks as if you were in a rush to do it.
Okay.
Make
Okay,
it,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So now it
That's a good
matches a
tip.
mess. It's a
Yeah.
mess. It's a mess. It doesn't have to match the mess. It's just a mess, right?
Yeah.
So then here, right, boom, you're going to draw your other arrow. Now you can cap your marker, get rid of it. Now from here, you're going to have to turn this card back over again. And you're going to lift up now both of these. And so yeah, so from there, so you lift up both of them. And now you can do this a couple different ways. I turn over the deck. Now while we're explaining things, let me explain this because it's important to understand this part here. So your gimmick, I'll get back to the rest of that in a second, but your gimmick, you'll notice now when we taught how
Yeah.
to make it, the card that you see through the back here, you guys want to see, is for me it was the 3 of diamonds, right? So the 3 of diamonds is my face card on my deck, right? This, you can make this whatever you want. If there's a certain card that you want at the top, you'll be making, which we mentioned in the how to make it part, you'll be making your card out
Yeah.
of that card.
Yeah.
I like the 3 of diamonds just because it's just got this, you just, it's easy, it's not busy, it's simple. Because you don't want to distract from what's going on here. You just want to see a bunch of white, and then that there's actually a card below it, which gives you that thing, right? So it looks like you're actually seeing
Exactly.
the thing,
Through
right?
the
You're
game,
seeing
yeah.
through it, right? We played with doing it on the back, but the gimmick was red, and then you see the red and the red.
Yeah.
So it didn't look like a good contrast of it moving over. But the white on red
Yeah, that looks really
looks
good.
like a really good contrast, right? So, so this gimmick, you'll make it out of whatever you want. But the reason I said this to you is because your face card is going to be the one that matches the card behind here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so having said that,
So when you prep the deck, you always make sure you
you
have
make sure that card's at the very top from the very beginning.
bottom.
Top or bottom, however you look at it. Well, that's at the
The
top,
face
right?
of the
No,
card. Yeah,
that's
the, the
I
face
know.
of the deck.
It's
Okay.
confusing, but life's crazy. Alright, so that's on the bottom,
Okay.
or the face, and this is face down here. You have your card. They sign the front, they sign the back. You draw your arrows. You're going to come here. Now, this is where you need to turn the card over again. Say, so your card's on the front and the back, right? You can just show it again. You know, look, you're still in the front, still in the back. Nothing's changed. Now you're going to get a double of both of these gimmicks from the face up position, because now this is going to act as the back and the window card, right? So that's going to be all the stuff there. So from there, it's easy because the card's thicker to grab the two blocks off of the deck. It's easy. If you want, you could make the top card like a short card
To get it.
if you want to do that. But I noticed that because of the flimsiness of the like this here, you might ruin or wreck your gimmick by flicking it up because of the window. Like this part here is
So fragile.
yeah, this is very thin right here. So if you flick up, you could rip it or tear it. So I don't recommend doing the flicking up to lock in the two cards. It's super easy that when you flip this card over, to just pick up the block
Okay.
so that, well, I'll show you guys from the side. So it's already face up, so I need to make it, no, it's face down and I want to make it face up. So I just finished drawing on it. Draw. I'm flipping it face up to show it's on there. And as I'm flipping it over, I just pick up
Okay.
the bottom card right before it hits that. So now you have your break with the two cards here. Now you just hold them together, your finger at the bottom and your thumb here. And you can, now you have the
You can
block
show it,
because of
right?
the window.
Yeah.
You can show their signature still there, right? And my fingers up here and my fingers down here are hiding the thickness of that double block, right? Because if you look at the side, yeah, it's a little bit thicker, but the fact that you have a card in between two layers of playing
Exactly.
card, it's not really that obvious. It's
you
like,
could literally show
yeah,
it.
you're just flashing the front and the back. I mean, it looks good. Now, you say here, look, your signature's still at your signature's on the front and the back, but I'm going to use the face of the deck so that you can see this a little bit better, right? Now, I just swing this down, like I pop it out. If you want, you can twirl it over like that kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, if you feel comfortable doing that, you can just twirl it over and put it down. But regardless, you're just placing it face in the down position, right? So now your gimmick is on top of that card, right? So all you have to do now is the trick, right? So you're going to follow the arrow or whatever way you decide to present this. You're going to push it forward. They're going to see that. When you do that, they're going to first go, whoa,
Yeah.
hold on a minute. And trust me, they will. You're going to come down and pop out the second one, and they're going to see this really cool triple zigzag card with their signature in the middle, right? Now you can push it back. Sound effects, ready? And once you've pushed it back in, make sure, and you know, Chris made a good point when he was showing it to me to not block pushing it back in, because you kind of want them to see everything going back, which is true. And now from here, I mean, it's super easy to lift up these two blocks. If you just take an extra second just to, because it just looks like you're picking up what you were supposed to pick up, right? Which was just the
Technically
thing.
3 cards.
Yeah, 3 cards thick anyway, so you're picking them up. So even just a 1 and 2, right? So I'll show you from the back, right? 1 and 2. I'm literally just picking up. It's like you're doing a double lift with 2 cards, but you're just doing it with the block and then holding a break, right? Or just going, not even holding a break. You're just lifting it up and going right into. Now, there's 2 ways to end this. One of them is I turn both of these over at the same time. So from here, I'm turning both over. And I just say, no, look, your signature's still there. I lift this up, dropping the gimmick on top of the deck. So that's just ditched there. And I bring this forward, holding it like this. So I'm just holding it forward. And I use my fingers to slide it out. There's a couple reasons you're doing it this way. One is because you're just starting to push it out to show that it's there. And you're covering the hole again by doing this, right? So now you're still not seeing that hole. And now I'm going to let them finish taking the card out.
Yeah.
So, and that's how you finish up the trick is you risk kill here and pinch the 2 together. So from there, you've covered the hole. There's no, like that little gimmick, which you don't even need to worry about. But here, and now they pull it out. They can see, they can check everything. Everything's examinable. They can keep their card as a souvenir. And that's one badass zigzag card.
Yeah. This is incredible. This is really, really, really good.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I'm sure they will.
They will like it.
As long as they spend the time making it, they'll be happy that they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything, any questions you had about maybe this or anything, or is there anything I didn't cover?
I think
with
you
this?
explained it really, really, really well. You went through every sleight, every move, everything. What I like is that when you're doing the move, you can show, you're holding both gimmicks, but you can show
Both sides.
the signature clearly right before you can show it. Watch here, place it, and immediately you can go into it, which I think it's great. I think it's great because they can always see it. There's no weird switching, no.
Yeah, there's no not showing the back or not showing the
Exactly.
front, right? Yeah,
At any time.
The quick flash of the front and the back. And also, there's a couple different ways that you can end this. And it totally depends on how comfortable you feel performing with, like, I'll show you what I mean. So at the end, you're in this position where you've zigged it, you've zagged it, you've put it back.
Yep.
And the 2 different versions are, one, you lift up the double here.
Okay.
You turn the cards both around, right? Like, so you would do both at the same time and turn it around. Sorry, like this. Okay. So you go like this.
Yeah.
You turn around, you place it up here, you go like this, you pop it out, and they pull it out, you say, here, take it. That way, it's just a safe bet, keeping the red card on the red back, right?
Okay.
That's just ending red. Now, that adds an extra flip,
And an
extra flip to an extra thing, right? Which you don't necessarily have to do if you feel comfortable. The trick's over at that point. They've seen it move and do all that cool stuff. So basically, when you push it all back and you take the double here, when you take those 2 off, all you have to do is turn it over to show the signature on the other side, and then just hand the card out, because you've shown the back and the front so many times. It's flashing it, showing it.
Yeah.
Look, your cards at the front, your cards at the back, right? But you're going to be left with this, right? Which is something you just need to seriously risk kill. You know what I mean? Like, right? So straight from here to like, no, seriously, check it out.
Can you talk about the risk kill just
Yeah,
briefly?
let me show you, like, as if I was going to do it for you, right? So it would, now the risk kill this way would be like, I would position myself so that I wasn't risk killing towards the camera. So if we were switched, right? So you come here. So if I was performing this for him, it would be put back. I put it back on, and I'd say, go ahead and check it out. And you just put the cards back in the box, right?
Yep.
But you just got to be wary that you don't flash. We can switch now.
Yep.
But just be wary that you don't flash the red on the back there. So that's it. There's just 2 different endings that you can do for this. One is risk killing and giving it right out. The other one's turning over the packet and the deck, putting it back on and pulling it out. It's up to you which one you want to do. And I'm sure there's other ways that if you play around with this for a while that you'd be able to do things. Like before I wrap up on this, I got to say this too: is that a long time ago when I was first playing around with this, the gimmick was at the bottom, like this, and the card was placed in, and I would do the drawings and all that stuff, and they'd sign it, and you would do like you would swing the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. So you'd swing
Almost like a sight steal from the bottom.
Yeah, side steal from the bottom, right? And then you come up and you just, as you're squaring the cards up, right? So if you want to get a little tricky, maybe a little technical, right? Yeah, you can swing cut the bottom of the card just as they're putting it back, and then just square it up. So it would be like this. So you would have it, you draw it, and you say yeah, blah blah blah, and then you just oops, I took 2 cards there, but. That's just something you can play around with if you want to do some sleight of handy stuff with it. You can side steal and add it to the top, right? And then once you've added it to the top, once it's finished, right, you can say no look, right? And you could pinch the 2 together and say no look, like it's completely solid, right? And you just slid the card, almost like a KM move, but like it pretty much is a KM move, right? So you do a double off the top, right, and then say no look, it's like this. And so
Could you do that a little slower?
yeah,
So we
I'll
can
show you again, right? So here
So right now you have the
the
gimmick.
double, the gimmick on top and,
Yep.
and the card below.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you've done that, right? You pushed it in. You have to do that on the face, right? But basically, yeah. So you're picking up the double and just doing like a cam, like you're just like, no, look, it's solid. You're showing both sides, and you just stolen it. The KM move is basically you just pinch the 2 together. You're leaving the top card behind
With the thumb pushing.
with the thumb pushing it on, and it's jumping over to that side as that's being flicked up, right? If you want to play around with stuff like that, go ahead. There's many different ways that you can probably clean up and do this, but we'll let you decide. Basically, the people decide which one they want to use. But I really hope you guys enjoy the zigzag card because I've gotten a lot of mileage out of this one. And I think it's the coolest zigzag as far as it's in 3 pieces. It's signed on both sides. They see it from beginning to end, and it's clean at the beginning and end. So having said all that, I think it's worth exploring.
No, absolutely. And you can make your own gimmicks with your own decks of cards, mix and match whatever you like.
That's right. You can make it out of any deck you want.
Listen, man, I got to tell you, I'm loving everything you're showing me.
Thanks.
Incredible work, incredible stuff.
Thanks, man.
What do you have next?
Well, my man. Let's see here. Let's use the Jack of Spades. It's kind of cool
Okay.
card. Just gonna fold the card. Okay. So, just gonna need a marker here.
Yep.
So you hold on to the marker. All I want you to do is just sign the corner of the card for me.
Okay.
Sick. All right. Now, if we weaken the card a little bit,
Yep.
right? Now, what's going to happen is your signature, right, dude?
Oh, man.
Oh, hold on a minute. What do you?
Is this
This is what you signed it with, right?
Yeah. Wait.
I can't believe that, dude. That was the dry erase marker.
Yeah, we don't need
I'm
that.
so sorry, dude.
Yeah,
I feel like an idiot. Sorry, man. I gave you the wrong marker.
it's fine. It's fine.
It's stupid.
All right. No
It's
problem.
okay though. Now, so the cardboard, it's one solid object.
Correct.
Right? It's a solid object. It's made of 3 layers, but when all put together, it's a solid object.
Yeah.
Right? So
Now it's 2.
now it's 2, right?
Yeah.
Can the camera see that? Can the camera see the signature on there? Yeah, that is your signature, right?
Yep.
Yeah?
100%.
Yeah. Okay, check this out.
Okay.
Watch. One solid object, now 2.
All right.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Watch.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And
nice.
you can actually
Nice.
see the signatures on there. Now look. It's fused.
And I
can
can-
you zoom in so that you guys can see that the signature is actually back on his card? And you know the cool thing is?
What?
You can keep it.
I can keep it.
Yeah, you can take that as a little souvenir.
Wow.
And that,
Nice.
that, my friend, is yours.
This is really
And now
good.
it's one solid object again.
This is really, really great. I love it. I love
Thanks,
it.
Ben. You want to show me how to do it? You want to do it?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, I'd love to show you this. Now, this is one of those things I've always loved the ripped and restored plot.
Okay.
You know, there's a ton of them on the market and in print and books and stuff. And it's always rip it in quarters, put it back together a piece at a time or whatever. They're all great. They're all beautiful methods, really cool stuff. I'm always interested. They've carded any numbers or new linking rubber bands. Those don't really excite me as much. But when somebody comes up with a new method, it's like, do we really need another ripped and restored? No, probably not. But the methods behind people's thinking about ripped and restored stuff, that interests me. That makes me go, how did he get that to go back together? I'm like, that's really cool, like thinking right there.
Okay.
The thing I haven't noticed on the market, maybe there is something out there. I haven't personally seen one where you sign the person's signatures. Maybe somebody signs the card, right?
But not the actual.
But not the corner that they see come off, right?
The two
so
separate.
they're actually seeing their signature in the piece that you're holding. To me, some might disagree or not, but I think it's more powerful seeing that than
I have a question.
seeing it on the card.
Could you have them sign also this and the court? Almost.
Well, actually, funny you say that. The original way that I had made this, the gimmick actually started with a half card gimmick that you had to peel off this big half card. You'd write the mismade date, you know, where you wrote the date down wrong, you know, kind of thing, and you write down. But then I realized that none of that matters at the end of the day. The signature, the only thing that matters is them seeing. Overproving this doesn't matter. The effect isn't is not necessarily all the signatures all over the card proving that it's the same card.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they're going back together. But the icing on the cake is seeing the signature separate from the card in their face and then back here, right? Some might disagree that other versions on the market who have a signature here and then this part heals, the non-signature part, they're all cool. I'm not dissing any of them. They're all great. Yeah. But this is my way of doing it. And I was going to actually put this out as a separate down, but I think this is a cool thing to have in the lecture. I think you guys will really like this. So let's go in and get right to the nitty gritty. Let's learn how to make the sign corner restore. For the sign corner restore, you are going to need just regular cards, X-Acto knife, a repositionable glue stick, and that's it. Super easy. So this is the gimmick you're going to make. I'm just going to peel this off and I'm going to show you. So as we showed you in the performances and the explanation, this little piece right here is what's going to do all your little dirty work here. And all you got to do to make this is you're going to take a playing card. Now, you are going to need duplicates of the card for this version, for this trick, but all you really need is 2 decks of cards. So if you have 1 deck of cards that you can use, you can cut up all the court cards. Actually, you don't even need to just use court cards. You could use any card in the whole deck. So technically you have 52 gimmicks that you could make from 1 deck of cards. And then the other deck of cards will be your duplicates, your actual performing with, right? So once you use from the other deck of cards, once you finish with the Queen of Clubs, let's just say, from your regular deck, you just now get your Jack of Hearts gimmick from your other one and put that into the deck. So here we go. So here's how you make it. You're going to fold the corner, the index corner. Try and get a nice, you don't want to fold it too small. You want it to be at least showing a nice little chunk of the card. It'll be almost like a perfect, I don't know how you say it, like it's not offset. It's a square almost is what I'm saying. It's like a square fold. That's how much you kind of want showing. So I'm just going to fold it forwards, fold backwards and forwards. Okay. You want to get that card just a little bit weak and not too much. And now what you're going to do is you're going to cut. Now I'm going to use a ruler for this. And I'll show you guys a close-up in a second here. You want enough, you want to make a cut. How big would you say of it's like a 2 millimeter, or how big of a space do you think that is? 4 millimeters, yeah? All right. I'm going to cut it, I'll just show you guys so you can see. It's not an exact cut, there's no exact size that this needs to be, but as you can see here, it's roughly around that much that you're going to cut below the fold line. So that line that you folded on an angle, all right, you're going to slice, I slice just above the circle here. See the circle there? You want to kind of get that. You don't want to go farther than a cut farther than that. So that's just perfect for what you need for the trick to be accomplished. It's roughly around that much. Okay, you guys can take a little look at that. Okay, so now from here, I just take my razor blade, and you're going to make a cut that's in line with the fold, right? But you're not going to cut the fold. You're only going to cut the white part on that same line here, and then you're just going to cut downwards. So you're basically cutting that little white piece out like that, and you're going to do the same for the other side. You could cut, and again along that fold line right there. Here, so I'll hold this up so you guys can see it. So that is your little gimmick right there. And I'll just give you guys an extra second to look at that. So that's exactly what you're making, okay? So you guys can see it. Now, this is where you're going to get your double stick. I don't call it double stick glue. You're going to get your repositionable glue stick out. And first, I'm going to glue. I'm going to color in the center here. Well, it's black in here, but basically, where the black is there, just at the corners of this fold here, just this piece right here and right there at the edges, you want to glue. You don't want to glue in the middle because that ripped corner is going to slide into that, and you don't want the glue to jam on you when you're performing. So just hold this in your hand. Use your little finger there as a little lever so it doesn't fold down, and just add a little bit of glue at the edge here. Make sure you get a really good repositionable glue stick. Don't cheap out on that. Get a good one because that'll make a huge world of difference depending on which brand you get. Some are very weak. Some will be not strong enough. They'll be kind of crappy. You know what I mean? And some will be, you'll find out when you buy them. Staples or Office Depot, I don't know, all those places have pretty good glue sticks, repositionable glue sticks. Okay, so I just put some on the edge there and some on the edge there. That's it. Now you're just going to turn the gimmick around, fold it down. And then I like to put just a little line of glue down here because this is what's going to stick to your thumb and pop everything off and to clean up your ripped gimmick at the end. Right? You don't want tons, you know what I mean? Like try not to overload your gimmick with, but just enough that. Now let that dry. And once this is dry, you're going to find, so I'm going to say here, so let's just say, so I just finished making it and gluing it. Now it's all done. Now I have my duplicate card that's going to match the gimmick. This is the card that's going to go into your deck of cards, your regular deck of cards that you're going to perform the trick with. So all you do to set it up is line it up right with your card, stick those two corners down that were glued on the other side, remember? And it's going to be flat in your card case, in the cards like this, and then we take you into the performance where you go from here into the performance, and we'll get into that. But that is how you prepare, set up, and get your gimmick onto the card. Super easy. You can make up a whole bunch of these all at once. I sat there and just made a ton of them And if you're a worker and you want to go out and perform a whole bunch of these, then make up a ton of them. If you just want to do it a couple times, it's super quick. It takes like less than a minute to just cut it up and glue it. But that's it, guys. That is your sign corner restore gimmick. That's it. This gimmick went from a half card all the way down to this. You guys can zoom in on that. And you guys can see here, that is the gimmick right there, which we showed you how to make already. We just showed you how to make that. So this is the little piece that does all the dirty work for you. This is the one, there's the little bit of double stick glue, repositionable glue on that strip right here, this part here, like we showed you in the instructions there in the video of how to make it. And then there's a little bit of double stick glue here and a little bit of double stick glue here on either end with nothing in the middle. Now I'll explain that in a second. So of course, you're going to have your duplicate card and your duplicate corner, right? So you're going to have 2 decks of cards you're going to need to do this trick, obviously, right?
Yep.
One of the decks will be all of your gaff duplicates, and the other deck will. So you can make up all the. Now, this doesn't have to be a court card, so you can actually utilize all of the cards in your deck of cards. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be.
Okay.
I only use card cards. I like the look of it going back together, but it's up to you what you want to use. Doesn't matter. So what's happening here is I'm lining up this corner right here. It's just going to the top right. I'm lining it up, and I'm just pressing down on the 2 corners here that have on that strip, that little bent strip there. I'm just pushing down. And now you have this little extra corner piece that's stuck to your card right there. Okay? So what's happening is this can be in your deck of cards folded flat, just like this, and you just place it anywhere you want in the pack. And then when you're ready to perform, have this piece, the corner piece towards your body here, so that you don't flash on this side, right? So you can pinch it with your finger and your thumb. If you want to pull it out, you can keep that closed. But like I said, this isn't one of those tricks where you need somebody to pick a card, or you have to force it, or you have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where you just literally go through quickly and go, oh, let me show you something really cool. Here, we'll just use any card. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. So now that you have the card out of the pack, what you're going to do is you're also going to have, and this is, I know that drawing a duplicate signature is not a new thing. This isn't something that some groundbreaking thing I came up with. It's been around forever. Many different people have used the plot of doing a double signature, double writing, or doing all that. So that's nothing new or anything like that.
Okay.
And I know even the dry erasing isn't anything new. I know other people have in past have used. I'm not going to go through all the people who have used the Sharpie dry erasing, but there's been a bunch I know who have used it. But it works really well in this scenario with using 2 separate Sharpies. So you have the Sharpie. Now go and get, you can either do one of 2 things.
Okay.
The Sharpie brand dry erase marker. It says Rub-a-Dub, laundry marker on it, Sharpie. If you can find this, just go ahead and buy this marker. If you use any other dry erase markers, when you write on here, it's still wet, and it won't wipe away completely, but it will smudge all over and make a mess. That's just from me playing around with it. So don't get any dry erase marker, because you need it to be a permanent marker. So that's your first one, is to buy the Sharpie brand.
Yeah.
If you buy the Sharpie brand, you don't have to do anything to it. Okay. If you don't, if you just have a Sharpie looking base, one that looks like a Sharpie, but maybe it's not a Sharpie brand or something, then you will have to pop this out of. So you're going to pop that part of your Sharpie out. Here's the tip and the plastic. This whole thing here, just take it out of a duplicate regular Sharpie, like you did, right for here, and you just pop it into here. So now you have a regular Sharpie switched out inside of your dry erase marker. Right? It's very important that you have permanent marker in here. It just so happens the Sharpie brand doesn't wipe away. But if you have to do that, super easy, right?
Yep.
No big deal.
Yep.
Now you're going to put both of these in your pocket. I like to have one in each of my pockets here, right? So I put the dry erase and then the Sharpie over here. You can put them in the same pocket if you want to just pull them up, but I like to know for sure if I'm going to reach in here, I'm instantly going to pull out the right one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that just makes it nice and easy for you. So now you're at the point now where you've just taken a card out of the pack. You're ready to go. While I take the card out of the pack, my finger just, you can do this up in the air, just with your thumb, and fold that corner backwards. So this is totally up to you how you want to do it, but once you take the card out of the pack, you're going to fold that end down, just as you're talking to them about whatever, you fold that down. Or you can do it while it's face, like while you're just pulling it out of the pack. You can now just with your finger, just flap that over, right? And then pinch everything.
Nice.
It's totally up to you how you want to do that. It's super easy. You're just flapping, you're flapping that down at the end of the day, and you're just doing it nonchalantly. You don't make a thing of it. So here's how to actually do the trick. So what you're going to do, now that you're set up, is you're going to fold, you're going to pinch pretty much at the corners of the gimmick, right here, at the corner of the flap at the back here. You're going to pinch there, and you're going to bend the card forwards, and you're going to keep doing that, and do it this nice and slowly until you see that the bend lines up with this fold. So I'm going to show you from the back here, okay? So if you guys want to zoom in nice and close to this, I'll show you guys this. So as I'm bending this forward, okay, I'm using my fingers up here to bend this, and my thumbs and my fingers here are pinching this to keep it in place so it doesn't shift around on me at all. So here, and I'm just going to line it up. And when you see that the bend that you're creating with that is lining up with your fold here, that's where you're going to put your crease right there. So now you've creased it exactly where the card moves on the bend. And so you're going to just take your time with that. You don't have to rush it. People don't know what you're doing yet. Don't feel that you need to rush this, because that bend right there will make the trick go smoothly or not smoothly for you, right? So, so bend it forward nicely. Then you're going to kick this card, this front part back up. So you bent it forwards, kick it back up again, bend it backwards, which you're going to need to do so that at the end part of the trick there, you can easily bend that backwards. So that's important. So you're bending it backwards and forwards just once. So I'm going to take this guys to the front now. So I'll show you again. Forward, bend it back. All it looks like to the audience is you bent it backwards and forwards, right? That's all you've done, right? So from here, there's going to be this little move here where you're going to pinch it at the corners here. And I'm kicking this card up with my fingers here. And see how everything's staying in place? Nothing's moved. My fingers are kicking that up. And what's happening is this is coming down.
Yeah.
So watch, it'll just look like that, right? So it looks like nothing is changing, but I'm actually switching out the corners there, right? Now the other corner is being bent forwards, and the fake gimmick here is being the seam. Now because there's a bend line here, and because the way that you cut the gimmick, there's nothing being really shown here. Like your fingers are all here, you know what I mean? So it just looks like the bend of the fold, like the fold of the card. So nobody's seeing anything here, so there's nothing to worry about.
Yep.
So again, there. So let me take it from the beginning. So here, fold, back, open, pinch, kick it up, and let this piece fall down. So you're almost taking that piece down. And you just practice that in front of the mirror, and you'll see. And it just looks like that. Now, at this point, I stop right here, and I take the marker out of my pocket, the dry erase marker, and I hand it to them. And then, now at this point, I just kick up that card right here, and I re-grip. I just change my grip from here to here. And I'm just holding the corner like this. Now, the reason you're holding the corner like this is because you want, when they sign it a second time, you want to be holding it the same way. Now, I wouldn't get them to sign it while it's flat here, even though that makes sense, to make it flat and then get them to sign it. But the problem is that when you go to do the second one, you're in a position where you're here and this card is here, and you don't want to fold this back. So you're not going to be able to fold that back the same way you did the first time.
Okay.
You're going to have to be in this position. So you want to keep that copacetic. You want to keep it the same.
Yeah, so that both
they don't
times
think
it's
anything's
exactly the
different. Why are you signing it this way, this and this way, right?
Yeah.
So just keep it the same. So it's no big deal. You're just kind of guiding them to sign it. So at this point, he's going to take the marker, and now at this point, he's signing the fake side, and the real side is just bent down forwards. And this is the fake corner he's signing. So he's going to sign a signature on it with the dry erase. You can say, you can go ahead and cap that for me if you want, blah, blah, blah. And from here, you're going to grab the fake corner with your fingers and go. Now, this is something, too, I want to just mention right here. If you want to, keep the cap back on. Sometimes when I'm performing, I will put a little bit of black marker on my finger here. And this sells it huge. I've done this a lot of times when I perform. Sometimes you don't need to. It's not necessary, but it's just that extra little thing.
Yeah.
If you don't want to have marker on you, cool. Don't do it. If you want to have a bit of marker on you while you're performing, people don't notice it. Like if I'm doing other tricks and I got some marker on my finger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody notices,
Yeah.
right? Or just before you do the trick, you can rub a little bit on, you know, like.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now they've signed this. You're going to go up and down. You're going to just grab the card, and then you're going to let this card underneath come and meet up with it, right? So it's going to be here. You're just bending the card a little more. So then you come down, let that card kick out and match up with that. You're going to come up, right? And so it just looks like you just up and down, up and down. Now you're holding both of them together. Now when you come up here, your thumb is just going to kick that back card backwards, that back corner backwards. So here, I'll show you from here. So they just signed it. You're going to move it down, bring the other fold up with it. If you want, pinch that little bar, that glue, pinch that down so it doesn't pop up on you or something, or it doesn't move anywhere on you. Just keep that pressure down there, and just as you're coming down here. So I'll show you what it looks like. So here, you got that. You're not making a move of this. You're just going like this, coming down, letting it go. This piece is being the cover for that flapping up. So no one's going to, and your fingers as well. Now this isn't a move. This isn't something that you want to bring attention to while you're doing it. You're just saying, great. So you sign the card, cool. You're going to come back up, flap that one backwards. And as you do that, you're going to come up like this. And don't make mention of the fact that this is an accident. This isn't something you're doing on purpose, right?
Yeah.
This is a, oh, whoops kind of moment, right? So you're going to come up and you're going to say, so you signed your signature. And what I do is I wipe my finger like this and I open it up and there'll be the little bit of black on my finger. You know what I mean? But I'll let them notice it.
Okay.
Don't let them notice it for a second, right? So you're just coming up, you're like, okay, so you signed your signature on there, right? They'll probably say something, they're like, oh, like your signature, and then, oh, what? And then react to them reacting, going, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see that. Let me see. Oh, I gave you the dry erase marker. You're like, oh my God, don't overplay it or something. Maybe I overplayed it, but just for the camera here. But in real life, it's just like, oh my God, I gave you the dry erase marker. I'm so sorry, dude. Play that off nonchalantly. Just put it back in your pocket. Come out with the actual Sharpie. Give it to them. Now, this all makes complete sense. That it makes sense because of the marker, the dry erase marker thing. Even though technically it wouldn't completely erase on a playing card, it's very believable because it's dry, wet erase. So they just believe that, okay, yeah, maybe it did just erase. So at this moment, they do believe that their signature has completely been obliterated. It's gone. It's erased.
Yeah.
And that's what's very strong about this, is that they believe that it's gone. So now they believe it's gone and that it's on your fingers or it's just wiped away. Now you're going to be holding it in the same position you did when you started it.
Okay.
That's why you're in this position, because right now you got the signature right here. I don't know if you want to zoom in there. You got the signature folded back, and then the actual card is blank now. So now you're in this position still. You say, can you go ahead and sign that for me? So you're just going to hold it up here for him to sign it again. He's going to sign it, or she. Right? And now from here, all you're going to do is that move we did before, this one, which isn't really a move. It's pretty easy. You're just pinching here, and your fingers are kicking the card up, letting this one come down. And in real time, it just looks like you kicked that card down. So that's what's happening. You're switching that one out for this one. So now you're going to keep the card face toward the back towards them, okay? And what's going to happen is you're now going to rip this card. This is the fake corner that's stuck to the card. This is the fake corner, and I'm holding the real corner now here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to pinch that bar, that little strip there. I'm going to pinch it down against the card so it doesn't go anywhere or it doesn't shift anywhere on me. Again, it's just a repositionable glue stick. It may slightly shift around on you, so it's important to keep that pressure on it while you're doing all of this, you know, just to make sure. But it doesn't move on me. It should be fine when you play around with it. Definitely practice this and get comfortable with that.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the more you'll be comfortable with this. But again, this thing doesn't go anywhere. You know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
pressure is only as a
Just
safety.
minor,
Yeah.
a safety thing, yeah, just to keep all it all in place. So now what you're going to do, if you want to zoom in on this, so what you're going to do is you're going to start to rip. Now, because there's those little cuts in the gimmick,
Yep.
it's very easy to start the rip.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Okay.
Right. So now you don't have to worry about getting that first rip started and doing it. So the first part of the card is already going to be open. So now you just need to start the rip and do this slowly. Because listen, maybe you can't hear it in the camera here. So
Yeah, you're
in
actually
real
ripping.
life, in real time, you're going to be next to the person and they're going to hear the card rip. And look, you're in this position now where this card's like dangling off, right? So in here, I'm going to reposition my hand to go from pinching that back corner to just putting my finger at the top here. I'm going to rip this off. I'm going to get my thumb underneath this flap right here, just like that. So now I'm about to flap it open position, right? So I'm just opening up, but I'm just leaving my finger on the top here, and nothing will flash or anything like that. You'll be fine. So from here, I'm going to drop my hand a little bit. So let's go a little bit of a. So I'm just going to relax the card here because this shouldn't be the focus now. You've ripped it off. The focus is the signature on the card. So when I'm doing this for him, I'm just going to relax my hand here. And because you don't want to keep this in focus because they're going to concentrate on everything, right? And this will also allow you to do the turnover thing while they're looking at the signature. So from the front of the camera, watch, I'll show you guys. So from here, I'm coming forward and I'm turning over the piece, right? You see that? Okay, so here. So I just ripped it. I'm relaxing my hand. I'm turning the piece over so they can see it. And in the background here, what's happening is I'm just turning. I'll show you this in slow motion. Here, I'm flipping the card up. And it looks like you're just turning the card over, but that piece is being hidden because of your finger. So watch. So here, I'll do this once again so you can see that. So that flash there, but let me show you here. So this, right? And it's just, it looks really good, right?
Yeah, and can we see it from behind?
Yeah. So here, I'm opening it and regripping like that. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's just, let's do that from the front here. So here and here. Now that flash there, but I mean, the whole point of this is not to turn this around. The focus is on the card here. So watch. So rip, come down here. I'm in that position here where my thumb's in that ready to turn it around. And my fingers here are what's kicking it up, right? So I'm actually keeping everything in place right here. The only thing that's moving is my ring finger and my pinky finger. So watch, ready? So that's keeping it from flashing, really, is the fact that the finger's here hiding that thing, and then my fingers are kicking it up.
Yeah.
So if you could just practice that a bunch of times in the mirror and just get used to that. It happens so fast in real time that when you rip the card off, you want to relax your hand, show them the corner. Your hand is covering the card a little bit, you know, while you're bringing your hand forward, because I'm showing him the card.
Yeah, and I'm focused
but
there.
if you were as Javier is, and I'm showing it to you, I'm showing, look, your signature is on the card. Yes? He'll say yes. I say perfect. I just flap the card around while he's answering me saying yes, right? So that moment right there, it's important because the whole focus of this is on the fact that your signature is on the card first, right? Look, your signature, yes, now you're going to bring this piece over to here. Okay. Almost like a little director's cut thing, right? Right? So here's what I have. Now, before I do the move for you, so basically I'll show you what it looks like. So what's happening is they're seeing their signature here, which is great, right? But it's going to go like this, and it's going to look like it just...
So visual. Even from here, can't see anything.
Yeah, it looks like it just appears back on the card, right? So that's why I like the signature on the corner, because the focus is on the corner, right? Not on the card down here, right? So boom, when they see it, it looks like it just goes back on, right?
That looks beautiful, man.
Now, we played around with a couple different ways of restoring this, where we were spitting it back on and doing crazy like spit it. We did some pretty cool stuff. You could come down and do a thing where you fleck it up, and you're like no, you come down and you make it look like you attach it back on by flicking it up, right? So there's a few different ways that you can do this, right? So this is something that you can definitely play around with. I just like to hold it all nice in here and tight, right? So now you guys can see that. So here, boom, okay.
Now can you show us how to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to show this part. Okay. I'm going to turn around. So you've just shown them the signature. Mm-hmm. I'm pinching. The card is going over top of the corner here. And I'm just pinching it. Now, don't hold it right at the tip. It'll be a lot harder to do this. You want to bring this down closer to, like, you want to overlap it quite a bit. You know what I mean? So your thumb, so when I do the move, it actually goes down. If you do it way up here, like way too high, it'll be a lot harder to do this. You will have to just definitely play around with this. You'll have to play around with this, but I'm pinching it there. So you guys get that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you see how far that's going down, right?
Yep.
That's kind of like what you want. You want it to kind of, that point to go past the corner of the card there, right? But then you're going to swing it open here. So now what's going to happen is it's just going to rest there. My finger here is pinching the card just like it's always been throughout the whole routine, kind of. You know that pinch thing on the corner to corner? But all that's happening is I'm flicking this card up with my finger and my thumb there. So my thumb is just flipping that up. Okay?
Okay.
So that's it. At the same time, this is pivoting down.
Nice.
Okay? So you get that going up and that going down. And so that motion at the same time, right, gets the restore. And if you were going to do that thing where, you're bringing it up and down, you're just placing it behind, right? That thing where I was coming down, I'm flipping that up, and that's just coming down and being held behind. I'm always dropping it behind. You know what I mean? Right? So you can do whatever one you feel comfortable with. This one's nice, keeps it all nice and tight and everything in there. So play around with that. I think you guys get that? Mm-hmm. That part of it? Okay. So now you've done this. Now this is really cool. You're in a cool position here, because once you flick it into here from that position, the corner always will fall here. So let's zoom in on this. I want you guys to see this, like a nice good zoom. Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So you'll notice that the corner, I'm going to come here again so you can see. So here, down. You see how where the corner falls when it does that? Every single time, it will always be in this position. As long as you do it that way, it'll be in that position. And the great thing about it is the reason that you didn't put glue in that strip that it was attached to originally, you didn't put glue in the middle, because what's going to happen is that card's going to shove right into the strip, right? So now that card shoves into the strip. So from the front, let me show you in real time here. Yeah, stay zoomed in here because I want to be able to turn around and show you. So from here into the corner. Now it's dangling and my hands are empty. So you can let go of your hands here and let go of your hands here, right?
Yeah.
So you're being very fair with the card. So that acts as a little, like almost like a holdout, little clip on the back, right? Which is cool. So it holds the gimmick. Now, the reason that you put glue, a little strip of glue on the top, you don't need to necessarily have the repositionable glue on the strip here.
Okay.
You could just, at this point, peel the card off and hand the card out. You don't need to do all this next part. But I personally like the way that this handles. So I recommend you do this. So from here, I'm going to show you guys again. So from here, what happens is I'm now going to show that the card, it's on here. So I'm wiggling it, right? That's what they're seeing from the front.
Yeah.
I'm just wiggling it. So now what's going to happen is my hand is going to come over and push on not the card here, but the strip. So I know the glue is on the strip. Now I'm pushing pressure on here, which you would do if you were showing them that it's on there.
Yeah.
Now because this little corner is popping out, as you're doing that, your thumb will just kick it off, right? And the whole packet will stick to your finger, right?
That's crazy.
And from the front, it'll look like you're just dangling it for a second. So from here to here, right? Now it's on my thumb, right? So it's here, and now this is the cool part. Because it's on your thumb, you can slide it down into finger palm position on the back of the card. So watch. So from here to the back,
Yeah.
and so I'm going to do that again so you guys can see that, because it's really nice. It's a really nice cleanup. I always, the original version, we would be peeling the card off of it, and I always hated that. Like, I hated it so much. So this was a lot of thought put into this from beginning to end.
I can tell.
So many versions were done until we finally got to this, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy with this. I think this is really cool. So the cleanup is always one of those things where when you come to a trick, the very end of the trick, it's always that moment where you got that cramped hand and you got that thing. And yes, you still do have to have the pieces in your hand, but the way that you peel it off is people see everything, right? That little bit of movement, even in the back corner of the room, you see something going on over there at the back of your eye. People notice everything, right? So that little peel motion or that little push behind the thing, and then you're holding this card with the cramped hand right away. It seems it's always that awkward thing. So by having it sticking to your hand like that, so from here, right, stuck to the back. Yeah, what I'm doing here, let me turn around so you guys can see this. So it's stuck. I'm sliding it down from here into finger palm and then just re-grabbing and turning it around, right? Now, the reason that it's so cool though is that because when you're doing this, it's already proven, and they see their signature on the corner, so they're focused on their signature. They're like, holy and
it's together.
My signature is on there.
Yep.
So there's no extra pieces that could exist. This doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So when I'm wiggling it, and they're just seeing that from the front, and your hands are empty like that, right? And then this is just a quick cleanup. It's here, and then you turn around. So let me do that one more time for you, and then you guys get the idea.
The cleanup is invisible. You
The cleanup's
can't see
invisible.
it. You can't see it.
And there's nothing, just guys, there's nothing to worry about here, because don't worry about this piece. Nobody knows that this piece exists.
Yeah.
For the whole trick from beginning to end, you folded a corner and you bent it, they've signed it, you erased it by accident because of the dry erase.
Yeah.
There is no extra pieces.
They will forget about the dry erase.
Yeah, they'll completely forget about that. No, nobody remembers that.
Nobody.
And even if they try to recall it, they'll just say, "Oh well, I just
The signature got erased.
the signature got erased." So that's what they'll tell themselves,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what they saw.
Yeah.
So again, from here, slide it down the cards right into your fingers.
Yep.
Right. So from here to here, finger palm, grab the corner of the card, spin it around. Flick the card, hand him the card. Oh, and the rest of the cleanup for this is this. So from here, I did it. I turned it around. I'm holding on to the card, right? You have the marker still.
Yep.
So now he's holding the marker. So let's do a wide shot of this. So he's got the marker. What I'm going to do to clean up so that you don't have a dirty, awkward hand at this point is you're going to take the marker, say, thanks, you can have this, I'll take this.
Nice.
Now I have the marker in my hand, so there's no awkward heat on my hands.
Yep.
So from beginning to end, there's no moment where you have something in your, you have this.
Yeah. Yeah, where you're awkward. Or
Because from the second you have that card and you twirl it around, from the second you do that, it's this, right? You just turn around once. Show them, flick it. You probably want to keep this. Oh, sorry, do that again. Sorry, I made a mistake. Flick it down. Right? Here, you probably want to keep this.
Yep.
I'll take that. And now you're clean, and you put everything and ditch it in your pocket, and they got a cool souvenir they can keep, guys. That is the sign corner.
I love it. I love it. And also, you can't feel any glue left over
no,
at
there's
all.
nothing left over,
So
yeah.
there's nothing to worry about.
No.
This is incredible. I love all the movements. Everything is justified and incredibly visual. The clean from beginning to end. This to me is a masterpiece.
Thanks, man.
So high five.
Nope. Oh, yeah. High five.
All right. Anything else?
Honestly,
No.
man, I'm this one. I'm just I'm super excited. First of all, I sat down and just took a deck of cards and just made up like a whole.
You took
I
two
just make up
decks.
a stack of these. If you want to go out, for the people out there who aren't performers and stuff like that, yeah, just make up a couple of them, you know, and
Yep.
go and show your friends at school and stuff like that. Super easy to make. Takes no time at all. It literally takes me maybe like maybe about I'm going to be honest, about a minute to 2 minutes, you know, to sit there, and I take a razor blade like we showed you before how to make it, cut it out quickly, make up a whole bunch of these at once, and just have them ready to go,
Yeah.
and just do it while you're watching TV, you know, TV shows.
Listening
just
to
sit
a
there and cut-
podcast, anything.
And it's a quick gimmick to make. Like I've even made these on the fly, you know, like cut, 2 seconds.
Yeah, you made like 20 in a few minutes.
That's the cool thing I really like about this too, is that it doesn't require a crazy gaffed card that, you know, a super expensive or a crazy gaffed card that you know you're worried about. This is something that's like a super cheap and quick and easy to make,
Yeah.
and then you could destroy and slaughter them with like
Yeah. You could make a whole deck of this, the whole entire
Yeah,
deck.
the whole deck.
And then you just take it out, have them name any card, and use that card if you wanted to, right? So,
that's genius. All right, I'm hoping that you guys will like go out and actually make this and do it, and maybe you can message Murphy's or Chris and I and let me know how you're doing with this one, because I'd like to know your feedback on that.
yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of this on Instagram, that visual moment, people coming up with their own ways
I
of
hope so.
doing it. Guaranteed.
Anyway, enjoy that.
You're going to love this. Man, you have some killer visual
Yeah.
madness. I'm telling you, it's epic.
Cool, man. I'm
Epic.
glad
I'm
you're
loving
digging
it.
it.
I'm loving it. Great lecture.
So you want to say another one?
You have more stuff?
Yeah, man.
All right,
I
go
got
ahead.
tons of stuff, right?
All right, go ahead.
We're just going to start off. We're going to use some business cards for this.
Okay.
And I'll leave these over there. 52 cards. Take one. No. I'm just kidding. You can take it.
I can take this.
yeah, man. I'm just kidding. All
All
right.
right.
What did you get? 7 of spades.
7 of spades.
7 of spades. So, all I'm going to do is get some signature right there.
Okay.
Take the marker.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and write your signature just right over there.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh.
Perfect. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich your card
Okay.
in between the 2 business cards. Okay. Now you guys can see at home that the business card's actually bigger than the actual.
The card is bigger than
The card is bigger than the business card. Yeah. And you can see your signature. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do me a favor. Open up your hand.
My hand?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm just gonna get rid of these. Okay. Watch. You guys can see the card.
Yep.
You can still see it, right?
Yep.
Watch.
Both hands.
3, 2, 1. Boom.
Oh.
Right. You can actually
Oh,
see.
snap.
Not only is the card vanished, but look.
Wow.
Look, it actually appeared
Wow.
in my back pocket.
With the signature.
Just show the camera. And that is your card, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is the sign card to pocket.
This is really, really good. Really good.
Thanks, man. This is a simple one to make, so we're gonna go ahead and get into how to make that right now.
We're now going to show you how to make your sign card to pocket gimmick. You're just going to need 2 business cards. It can be any business cards. It doesn't matter what the front or back looks like. That has no effect on the trick whatsoever, so don't even worry about that stuff. All you're going to need to do is you're going to gaff one side of the card, and super easy. To do that, you're just going to take a playing card. Now you can use whatever playing card you guys use, like so whatever designs you perform with or you use, go ahead and make it out of that color or that design. It's up to you. All I do, this also isn't an exact size. It's totally your preference. When you're doing the trick, as you'll see, when you spread the cards like this, if you want a bit of a wider spread, then go ahead and cut your gimmick a little bit wider. If you want it to be a little smaller, cut it a little smaller. This is totally how you want it. But for now, let's just say it's the very first line
on those 3 lines here. Just cut down one of those lines for now. It doesn't even matter which one. Okay. So you just slice that part of your card up, right where the circle is. Now, get rid of this. You don't need this. All you're going to use is this little piece right here. I would definitely peel the front part off. So basically the back. You want the back. And the reason we do this is because when the cards are in performance and they're sliding around, you don't want a lip catching on the card. It just slides right by it. So you want it to be super thin. So all I need to do is I use an X-Acto knife just to kind of start the split a little bit. The part that you want to peel away, I started a little bit down here. Okay. And come down here, push it with my finger as I'm lifting up. Now what I have here is just the first layer of card and I'm peeling away the cardboard and the face layer. So the face and the cardboard is coming away, and you only left with this very thin back layer. That's what you want, right? So you're gonna just go through it. Keep your finger on the top so it doesn't rip through. There you go. Get rid of that. It's garbage. Recycle it or something. Do something good. All right. So now you have this little strip. You're going to need a glue stick. This is a regular glue stick. You're going to glue the card. Give it a nice go around. You make sure you get the edges. Very, very important. You want to get every little bit of it. You don't want it to pop up on you after you finish laying it down. You just want it to stick really nicely. So just get everywhere. Okay. Once you have that, you're just going to, whichever side you want, it's totally up to you. However your card design is, doesn't really matter. This is a personal preference. You're just going to stick the card down. I don't like to line it up perfectly with the edge. I like to inset it. Is that a word? Inset? If not is it offset? I don't know. I just like to I like to move it over a little bit. So it's hard to see here because my card is white, but on this side. But I like to make sure that it's just so that it looks like there is a card in there and it's not lined up perfectly. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect the trick at all if it's lined up perfectly or if it's not lined up perfectly. It doesn't matter. That's just me liking it in a little bit. All right. And then you don't have to worry about if you're gluing it down any overhang or anything like that. It's just for many reasons. Now you're going to push that down. You're just going to let it dry, and that's it. That's your gimmick. Super easy. Again, if you're doing if you want to do this trick where you don't sign your name on the back of it, then you can just leave this blank. If you want, which I recommend, because it adds to the illusion of this, is write your initials or even draw a little happy face or something. Right? This is totally up to you. Whatever you want to draw in the corner there that you're going to draw on the playing card during the performance, draw that here. Again, if you draw something you don't like it's super easy to cut another strip of card, peel it, and stick it on the back and make another one. And if you want, you could even make up 3 or 4 of these that are all different kinds if you have different ways you want to present it or perform it. But for me personally, I just put my signature, put it down there. And my friends, that is how easy it is to make the sign card to pocket gimmick. You are done. How awesome was that one?
Now that you've made your gimmick, let's learn this trick because this is super awesome, and I definitely think you will do this one. If you have a business card, you will do this one. If you don't have a business card, you should get a business card so you can do this one. Right, or just you can use some white blank. You can get white blank cards from like Staples and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You get the blank ones.
Yeah.
You could totally do this with blank ones and just write whatever your information on it if you want. But I'm assuming most of you will probably have a business card or something. Now, all you're going to need is a deck of cards, the 2 business cards, and the gaff you just made. The gaff you just made will have the glued card right there. Just so you know that when I originally was playing around with this idea, I actually had this here, and then I had a like a jack
okay.
of clubs or something here,
Yeah.
so that you would be able to see both of them still, even at the very last second, you could see the full card, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that was I had to force a card, and you'd need duplicates for the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I was like, man, I'm like, it's just, I don't want to tell people they need to go out and get duplicate cards and do all this stuff, you know. So I'm like, how can I do this? And just so you understand the thinking behind some of the tricks, right? Like how to get to the certain points, right?
Yeah.
The first point was making the card look like it was in the business card, right? Then I realized, well, wait a minute. If you just have the strip, the one strip on this side, and you have nothing on this card, that opens up a whole bunch of stuff, which is you can have one business card which is blank, which is nice because now you're able to do your frustration count. Or you can do like your Monty moves, you know, when you flip it over and you do all that. If you want to do all the Monty stuff, you can do that here as well. You don't need to overproof stuff for this. It's not a Monty trick. It's just 2 business cards. So for me, just coming out and showing the business cards, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. Nobody overthinks, wait a minute, show me that business card a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. So here's how the setup is. This card, the strip with your signature on the top, that's going to be the top card. I have the signature at the top right. So at the top right. And then that's going to go over top of the blank business card, like so.
Okay.
Right. So that is on your right. That just goes in your pocket or wherever pocket you want to do. Doesn't matter. I'll keep them on the table from now, but these will be in your pocket. Okay.
Okay.
Let's get rid of this. So this will be in your pocket. Just so you know that if you put regular business cards in your pocket, when you're finished the trick and you put the cards back in your pocket, you go, oh, actually, I wanted to give these to you. You can now pull out just 2 of your like put these at the front of the stack and then pull 2 out from the back of the stack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
just
yeah,
hand
yeah,
them
yeah.
2 business cards. And then when you go to your next table, you're set up and ready to go just to pull these out again. Just pull them out from the stack,
Nice.
do the trick, and continue that
Yep.
cycle, right? There was a version, before I get into the rest of this, there was a version where I had double a repositionable glue stick
Okay.
on the strip here, so that when you're finished this trick, you can peel that strip off into your hand
Nice.
and then hand the cards right out.
Nice.
But if you're going to do it just for one person, that's a great way to just do it.
Yep.
But this is the permanent glue down is good because if you're going from table to table to table, or you're doing a walk around gig, or you plan on doing this many times, you don't want to have to start sticking down the gimmick again
Yeah.
and repositioning it.
Yeah. So this is the worker's gimmick.
This is no big deal. Put it in because the trick
Yeah.
isn't about the business. It is about the business cards, but it's not. Those are just sandwiching the card. The trick is it vanishing into a pocket or an impossible location. So that's the main thing there. They're not focused on these. These are just innocent bystanders sitting there.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to, well, wait a minute, let me see the business cards, right?
Yeah.
Because the card's here, the card's there. There's nothing to see. So let's get into this. So this is on top, just like that. That's on the table. Now here's what I do. I come out, I do the frustration, I just show both.
Could you show that slow?
Yep. So you're just holding it by the corner. You're just flashing the bottom.
Gimmicks on top.
Gimmicks on top. Pulling it into the hand. Showing the same card again. And then when I come down, you want to keep this on the top. So watch. So 1, 2. Put that right back at the bottom. Right?
Okay.
Now you can flash the bottom again. But before you put them back on the table, shift that top card to the right. When you shift that top card to the right, you're going to see your gimmick showing. Oh, over here, right?
Yep.
So you see it showing. So now that's how you're going to want to be when it's on the table. So last flash, quick little last flash, put it on the table. You don't even need to do that last flash if you don't want to.
Yeah.
That's not necessary. But place it on the table. Come out with your cards. You're going to pick one.
Yep.
Now, the cool thing about this now, by getting rid of that extra strip, is that any card can be selected in the pack. And I'll get into that more. But now that they've picked the card, I'm going to turn it over face down. I want to be the one that signs it first.
Okay.
There's a couple reasons you're signing it in the top corner, which I'll get into in a second. But you just got to match whatever you drew on your gimmick.
Okay.
Now, again, this could be a smiley face. It doesn't have to be your signature.
Yeah.
It could be whatever presentation, whatever you want to draw there, draw there. Make it your own.
So there's the signature there. Then I just turn the card over, and then they're going to take the marker, sign their initials. You tell them to draw it near the pip or the card, the index.
Yeah.
Index.
Yeah.
They say pip. I think is that a UK thing or something? Or a pip?
We say that here.
Pips? Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Index, pips, whatever. So
Or
they
suit.
suit. Yeah, so they're going to sign on that side. That's important though, because when that strip, when they see it overhanging from the strip, they want to be able to see their signature, right?
Yeah.
So now they've signed it here. You're going to keep it face up, just like this. You're going to pick up the 2 business cards off the table, just like they were. So that little part will show. You're going to slide the card in between the 2 business cards. Keep the deck of cards in your hand. Don't put them down and pick them back up again, because why do I need to pick them back up again, right? So
Yeah.
keep them in your hand, because you can do all of what I'm about to do with the deck in your hand, okay?
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get zoomed in on this. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to just push the 2 business cards flush together. So the business cards are aligned now, right? So now if I hold the 2 business cards, I can just show them, look, your card is, you don't have to say, look, your card is in between the 2 business cards. You just make note that the playing card is bigger than the business cards, right?
Yeah.
Say, look, it's bigger. You can see it overhangs. It's bigger. Yes?
Yeah.
And let's say, yeah. And then you say, yeah, you can see your signature. Yes? Now what's going to happen here is you're going to leave it in this position. So the 2 cards are going to be closed together. And this will be just sticking out like that. You're going to keep it like that. And all I do is I just turn the cards over in my hand, really. So I just go from here to here. I'm going to pinch and keep this all together in a nice tight packet. And then I'm going to come over and re-grab it. So I'm going to re-grab it from the sides. Let me just do this. I'm going to re-grab it from the sides like this. I'll make sure I explain this right. So I'm going to put pressure with my finger on the top of the business card here. My thumb is going to, basically what's going to happen is I'm putting pressure with the sides, and I'm pushing down, holding everything else in place. So I'm holding the card at the top and the bottom with my finger, my middle fingers here.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing, so this is how you were in when you turned it over. So here, the thumb and the middle finger I'm holding the playing card at the bottom here, middle finger, it's just holding it in place. And all I'm doing is sliding that top card down. So I'm sliding up and down like this with my card, okay?
Okay.
And you're holding everything in place. The reason you're holding everything in place is there's going to be two of these going on right here, right?
Yeah.
But with this like this, so here you go. So you're here. I'm just going to turn it over and pop it down. And when you hold that all in place and put pressure on the cards, you got to put that bit of pressure on it. When you do that and you push down, it'll keep everything completely square. Now what I can do is I can turn it around and I can flash their signature still.
Yeah.
So that now they're seeing their signature still on that side, which is nice, right? Because now they're going to see that on that side. So this is the part where it changed for me, where I'm like, I realized I didn't need to overprove to people that their card was still in there. They saw me slide it in. They saw their signature. I turned it around. Now they see my signature. I can still put it up. Now this is the third time they've seen their signature. At this point, I realized that when I steal this out, they're not going to think that their card's gone yet, because I've shown it so many times at this point, and I don't need to overprove a fourth time. And that's how I was able to get rid of the dupe card on that side, because now what's going to happen is their thumb is going to come over, and you're gonna basically do this. You're going to peel the card out of the sandwich.
Wow, nice.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's going to happen in context of you asking them to open their hand or give them an action, give them something to do. It's almost like you're doing a top change without having to do a top change, right? It's just you're just pulling it out. That's it. So from here, I'm like doing, and I point with this hand. I say, could you guys open up your hands? Like, and as I do that, as I come from here to there. So put your hands down for a second. So I've shown the card. I've shown the card. You see your signature? You see your signature? Yes.
Yeah.
I come down close to the deck. So I'm close to here. My thumb is right here. I say, actually, could you open up your hand?
Nice.
So I steal it out and wrist kill.
Now, the reason you write it in the signature in the corner is my thumb can cover the signature easily, and your thumb naturally rests there. So even if they were to glance at the deck, it just looks like the top card of the deck, right?
Yeah.
So and they see your signature in the thing here.
So
still,
nothing
right?
has changed.
So nothing
technically.
seems amiss, right? So I'll just take you through that one more quick here. So signature, yes, you see your signature, perfect. Can you open up your hand for me? Right, perfect. So that's all it was just coming from here to here. Now, at this point, I drop my hand to my side and just relax.
Okay.
As I come over, I say, now, if there's just one person, then you could do like, actually, no, come stand here, stand here. You're giving them these actions to do. All I'm doing is I'm just taking the card and I'm just thumbing it in my back pocket really quick. It doesn't have to be all the way in. You could just stick it there, and then I'll come back with the deck in my hand still. Like I won't even, right? If you have a table, put it down on the table and get rid of it.
Okay.
So you're free to come over here and do this, right? Or if you have a jacket pocket, just drop them into your jacket pocket quick. You know what I mean? You're coming out here, perfect, perfect. Hold it there, yes.
Yeah.
And now they're going to see that. There's a couple ways you can banish it. We'll go over the way I just did it. Is all I did was I flipped this card over. So this one with the signature, the business card with the signature, I just flipped it over and it looks like it just goes, right?
Yeah.
Right. So now quickly you can do the frustration by putting the blank card at the bottom. Show, nothing. You can do a Monty thing if you want. Doesn't matter. All you need to do is show it like once or twice.
That's it.
It's gone. Throw the cards on the table or put them in your pocket, like I said, right? And then be like, no, look, check this out, right? You go over to your back pocket. You say, no, look, your card, your signature, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And they're seeing their signature, and you don't need to focus on yours, right? That was just to convince her to get rid of the card, right? But this is now the focus. Look, it's your signature in the back card. So that is the bare essential of just sign card to pocket. Using your business cards, which you can now hand out.
Yeah. And another idea that I had is you can, if you don't have business cards, just go to any store and grab any business cards that you like and say, oh, I picked these up, or somebody gave me these, and you just make your gimmick out of that if you don't want to get your own business cards, right?
That's true. Yeah,
Right.
it's clever.
Cool.
Yeah, you can totally get whatever you want. So a couple things here, though, is one of them, the ways to vanish it. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit on the mat here. It's in the mat. Okay, so in this position here, you can, if you want, now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a little bit risky. You have to practice this a lot to get it perfect. I personally haven't practiced this a lot. I don't do it this way, but you could hold it here. And if you hold it right where you're basically holding it right at the pivot, like, okay, I'll show you here. So right where that card would pivot down, that's where I'm pinching at that pivot so that card can swing in my fingers. Do you know what I mean? So if I were to let go of that card, right? Now, that's the risk you take if it does that, right? But if you can get it to drop down, it looks like the card just vanishes. You have to practice pivoting it and holding it lightly and getting it to drop. I'm only telling you this because it's just a cool, different way to do it. If you can, like, see, boom,
And then
gone,
gone.
right?
Yeah.
If you get that down, man, does that look ever awesome if you can get that. You can also do this, where you hold the card and you shift it from the right side to the left side, right? So let's just say for completion here, we had them both on the same side here so you can see. Okay, so there's the card, boom. And it's just, they think their card's in there at the last second, and you shift it over and it's gone, right? And now you can do the Monty thing, show it's gone, whatever, and then it's in your back pocket and stuff. So there's a few different ways you can vanish this card, but at the end of the day, just going over like this, showing them the card and going, boom, right? It's gone.
Done. Yeah. It's visual.
It's gone. There's nowhere to hide. You know what I mean? It's gone. And now you show it in your back pocket, it's done. Last note, too, on this is that if you don't, I personally, I would just do it in the back pocket. And if you're not comfortable thumbing that in your back pocket, just remember that it's all with practice, right? Practice being in front of people and being comfortable doing it. And sometimes being uncomfortable doing something, if you're not doing that, is good. It's good, like to practice, to go up and just have that little bit of courage to just try it. If you get busted, you get busted. Whip out a better trick next. Make sure you have something lined up that's even better if you get busted or something. But the more practice you have,
doing stuff like that is audience management, right?
Exactly.
Is controlling your crowd. If there's more than one people, say there's 3 people around, right? And I have to thumb this in my back pocket, and I've got something here. They're focused on here. They don't think anything's happened yet because they still think their card's in there, so there's nothing to worry about,
Exactly.
right? So from here, I'm going to open up your hands. No, you guys, come here. Everybody come here. No, you, come here. You, come here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm pointing to people. I'm moving around.
Yeah.
I'm getting people to come in and focus in. I'm like, no, look.
You guys
look
gotta
at this.
watch this.
Just
Yeah.
like David Blaine, right? Look. You know what I mean? Like, he gets, that's how he gets it. He gets people to focus in on what he's doing. That's how you get away with doing the dirty work things, right?
Yeah.
So you come in, everybody's focused in on your hands now. They're like, boom, look, it's gone, right? Look, no, it's in my back pocket. It happens so fast, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all I have to say about that. Practice that. Get comfortable with it. Don't worry about it. I would give you alternates like, cutting the deck or something and putting it on the table and having it appear in the center of the deck.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
I
with the
personally
top
wouldn't do
card, you
anything
can.
other than put it in my back pocket. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if you have other things of ways that you want to make that card go somewhere else or do, have them pinch onto the business card first, I wouldn't do a card fold and have it appear in an impossible location. You can play around with stuff like that. But personally, I would do it just as it is and practice it and get good at it and start slaying people with it.
Yeah, and this is also a good trick, like you said, for people that are not used to performing for people with the audience management stuff.
Yes.
It's great for that because
it's great
the
practice.
focus is never going to go away from the cards because they can always see that.
That's
And
right.
if you're asking for them to come and see,
Yeah.
you can do anything. You can load anything, literally.
Top of the morning to you, sir. Yeah,
Nice,
that's it,
nice.
man. You're right. Practice it. Have fun with it. It's a solid trick. This is one of those ones where, could have been a download, but
Yeah.
you got something cool to do here.
Listen, I got to tell you, man, you have shown us some crazy, cool, incredible stuff that I want to go home and start making it and doing it myself.
Cool, man. I hope you do.
Yeah. Now, before the lecture, you did show me something, and I know that it's
Yes.
not a part of the lecture, so
right.
I know you're not planning. But I'm just wondering if you can show it to us. Would you mind just? You don't have to explain it. Do you mind just? Doing
Yeah,
it?
I can show it to you guys. I wasn't gonna include it because there's some stuff I'll tell you about, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't want. Do you guys have the chain? Anyone? Oh. All right. So normally you start with it on your neck,
Okay.
right, attached. But I'm not gonna attach the chain right now. But this is
It's like a dog tag, dog chain.
A dog chain. That's
Yeah.
right. Can you pull on it? Make sure it's solid.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a ring?
I have one.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Yep.
And
Yeah, it's
yeah,
solid.
and you guys know that is a completely solid chain. Yes?
100%.
All right, now I'm gonna do this for you. Check this out. So a ring, solid ring, your ring. Watch.
Okay.
Loosen up a little bit so I can get some slack in the middle here. Okay, check this out.
Yep.
Can the camera see that? All right. Well, watch. 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Right?
I love it.
And you can see, all right, it's linked right on there. A solid chain and a solid ring. Now the hard part though, not just getting it off, but plucking it right off.
Wow,
Right?
visual.
And guess what? It's a completely solid ring, and it's a completely solid chain. And that is the ring-on chain with a examinable ring and examinable chain.
I love it, man. I love it.
Ring on
I love
chain,
it.
man.
Very visual.
Thanks, man. Now, I always like the linking stuff on. That's kind of cool. This was like years ago. I was playing
Yeah.
around with this years ago. I know. Since then, people have put versions on. I think there's even. I'm not going to mention all of them, but there's some different versions that utilize what this method is, and that is the little magnet balls, right? I know some. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to give away secrets to people's
Yeah.
tricks. But certain people have put ones out where it's either a whole necklace or it's a linking chain or it's this or it's bracelets and all these kinds of things have come on the market. So I'm like, I don't really feel the need to release what people have already kind of been attacking for a while. But this is a cool place to show you guys this. To teach
Okay,
it. So I'm glad you brought it up. But I'm going to go through this with you. So this is a 5mm dog chain.
Like the balls.
Yes.
Okay.
The size of the dog chain is a 5mm, right?
Okay.
They have different sizes. There's like 3mm. There's the thinner ones, the thinner dog chain. I personally like the beefiness of this. You know, it
looks
looks
good.
nice,
Yeah, it
right?
looks
It's not
good.
so like, it looks very the
Manly.
thin ones, yeah. Manly. Yeah, we'll say that. Say that. I have it. You can cut it. You can order this online, by the way. On On Amazon, yeah? Pumping Amazon? Okay, Amazon. Right? But yes, you can order it on Amazon and get it delivered the next day, most likely. I don't work for Amazon, but that's where you can get it. Okay, that's
saying.
easy enough to make sure that you guys find an easy place to get it, right?
Okay.
They're taking over the world one order at a time. Anyway, so this you're gonna get it. You're gonna cut it to however long you want to cut it to. When you order these magnet balls, right? These are little. They all come apart here.
Do they have a specific name?
I don't remember the actual name of. You could just go look up.
Ball magnet.
Yeah,
5
magnetic
millimeter.
balls. You do look up the size of them. Does need to match.
Okay.
Does need to match the size of the chain that you get, right? You don't want to have small balls and big balls. It's just weird, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So if you get a 5 millimeter, you get 5 millimeter magnet.
That's right. 5 millimeter, 5 millimeter. They do say that in the ad description when you go on Amazon and you check out. They do have the magnet balls available for there. So you can, in one order, you can get both of these to your doorstep. Get Amazon. So I get I say there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12. So there's about 20. So there's about 20 here. I counted them earlier. I just don't remember exactly how many it was. But there's around 20 here. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to end up creating this ring,
Okay.
right, with the magnet balls, and that's what's going to be your gimmick, right? So whatever size you want, you can make these a little bigger. Like you could make this a little longer.
Okay.
Whatever you feel comfortable doing, you're going to do, right? So here's how I have it set up. So this chain of magnet balls is going to go on the real one, and because it's magnet and the chain is magnet, ooh, look at that, it sticks. That's magic. Now, or science. Now, also, because it's magnet balls, when you put it behind your neck, they'll stick together. And now you can walk around with your chain on underneath, and you're ready to go. Now you just need to
Borrow a ring.
borrow a ring. So you can come out with your cool dog chain, your army tag thing. All right. Now what happens is on the back here, can you guys see here? I'm running my fingers. I'm overreaching
Okay.
so that I don't disconnect the magnet ball somewhere in the middle by accident, right? So I'm running my hand, my fingers, my finger and my thumb across what I know is the real chain
Okay.
all the way over until I get to the part where the magnet is, right?
Okay.
So it'll disconnect there. So I'm going to
Yep.
show you. It's hard doing from the back, but this is in real time, right? It'll look at this. So you don't need to show your hands up yet. I don't know why I did that. but
You're
but
just used to it.
Yeah, but you come back, nothing in my hands. Look, nothing to see here. Magicians, we always feel so
Yeah.
guilty, right? So boom, back here. You unchain it. You can hold it nice and straight. Let's go into a wide shot here. So I hold it right from the. So you can now you want to show your hands empty,
Yeah.
right? This is the moment where you want to show your hands empty that you didn't do anything back there while you were here, right?
Yeah.
Not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. So here you have your chain. There's different ways that you can get into this, but I'm just going to teach you how I've been doing it. You're going to
Okay.
come down and find the middle.
Okay.
I'm going to bring the middle up, and my fingers over here are basically going to
Make that loop.
make that loop right there, right? So that's happening as I'm bringing this up, and I'm just saying, so we have a dog chain here, and it looks like I'm just grabbing onto this.
Yeah.
So let me come down for you guys to see this quick. So let's we got that. Let's get as close as we can into my hand right here. Okay, perfect. So I'm bringing this up, and at the same time my hand's coming down, right? Even if it doesn't connect perfectly with the balls, it doesn't matter, because basically what you're doing is once that connects, you're going to pinch the real chain, and then I'm going to run my fingers along it, show it solid, say, look, I have a solid chain,
Yeah.
solid dog chain, get them to grab onto the other end of it. While they're grabbing onto the other end of it, I let them take it all the way, and I let this
okay.
pop off into my hand
Okay.
as I'm pulling away from it, right?
Okay.
So it's boom, here, solid, right?
Yep.
I pop it off, so now I'm holding on to the circle, and it just right into my hand. I'm just holding it in my hand. Now, this actually, I didn't figure this out till here, because I wanted a really cool, to be honest, I wanted to figure out a really cool way to be able to not be cramped in your hand here, because you're going to have to link the ring onto the thing, and in order to do that, The second that you pull this off, the second I yank it off and you check that chain, I'm like, check it out, it's completely solid, right?
Yep.
I let this just in my palm of my hand, and this is like the coin move, you know, where you show your hand's empty at the end. The exact same thing here, except you're going to not do it as a vanish, but just to hide the gimmick.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to pull it off, chain it, open up your hand. Does anybody have a ring? Now that right there is like, it's beautiful because I always hated the fact that there was something in your hand that you needed to get into from that point, and this cleans all that up. So this is really open. So does anybody have a ring? Just point to it quickly. You open up your hand. The second you've opened up your hand, you've proven there's nothing in your hands now.
Yep.
They see this.
Yep.
Your hand just comes to your side, and as it comes to my side, it goes from my palm, and it drops into my finger position.
Okay.
Okay? So now I'm just holding it by my side. I'm just relaxed. I've shown my hand empty. Does anybody have a ring? Oh, you have a ring. Perfect. So they're gonna give me the ring. So I'm gonna take the ring back, and what's happening in my hand? I'll show you. My thumb is gonna go into the magnet ball chain here. I'm gonna turn around so you guys can see it. So it's guiding it up. I'm just kind of pushing it up to the ring. You want the ring to be not a very tight ring on your finger. You want it to be like, get a bit of a bigger ring if you can. Doesn't matter really, as long as it's a band. The bands or women rings are good, but the bands are good. And what you're going to do is you're going to push. They're going to link into that, right? Yeah. But if you're in a very quiet situation and you want to do this, it does make a tiny bit of noise when the magnets click together.
Okay.
So the way I've got around that is once you're here, you just bring this up to your ring, right? And once it's there, you're just going to push it in. So I'm pushing it in there, but I'm not going to let it go in all the way. I'm going to, so it's going to come here. I'm going to push it in. If you need to grab the ring to get a little bit of grip on it, to push that in, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Then just look at the ring for a second and go, oh, that's a nice ring, or whatever you want to do, right? But if you just want to do it with one hand, now I've pushed it in, but I haven't let it go yet.
Okay.
So I say, can you hold on to one end?
So,
if you have two people, you can get either person to hold their end. But if you're just doing this for one person, this is a very nice, because they're seeing all this in their face, right?
Yeah.
So it's here, loosen up a little bit. I'm going to gather the middle of the chain. While this is all happening, I can let go I can let the magnet balls connect in here. I can actually let go, because here, hold on to this. I'm talking. They're paying attention to this.
Yeah.
You don't hear this. So if you're in a quiet position and you want to get away with this and you're worried about them making a sound, that's how you get away from that.
Okay.
In the heat of the moment, all this stuff's going on, then let go. But now you're in this position where it's hanging here, and it's linked on, and it's just in your hands like this. Don't have any windows. Don't flash that. Keep your fingers tight. You're just holding onto the ring, so it's fine. You're going to grab the middle of the chain, which is nice because they're doing the rest for you with your thumb. I just lift up with my thumb. Here it is. I've created the loop, and I let it dangle over my hand here, right? So now that's what they're seeing. They're seeing this little loop here over the thing. This is what they're going to end up seeing in a second, right? So what's going to happen is I'm coming here. I'm going to show you guys this from the front.
Yep.
I let this stick to this. I come up with my hand, cover it, take the ring off my finger, look like I'm doing something, and let it drop. So there's this loop thing, and they're seeing this right in front of them. So it just looks like it's really on the chain, right? Now, I used to do stuff where I'd pluck this off of here, or I'd link it in this position. But the problem is it looks like you're pushing it through, and to me, that's giving away what's happening here. Like, you don't want to give away the secret of these magnet balls by pulling it through and pushing it in. That's just like, oh, okay, there's something that's opening or something that's closing, right? So this, having this linked on here, so I'll take you from here, the ring's in my finger, I come over, I let it stick, so it's stuck like this, but this is happening in my hand. I drape it down, I let it come off my finger, let it dangle for a second, let them see what happened. I put my finger back in it. I'm going to show you guys from the front what this looks like. So they're seeing this. I'm closing my fingers again, but what I'm doing is I'm lifting up. So from here, I'm lifting up so there's more overhang here. I'm closing my fingers and I'm pulling forward. And it looks like you literally just pulled it off the chain, right?
Yeah.
Right. So here, I was going to call this trick off the chain because
It looks good.
It is
Yeah.
off the chain. You know what I mean?
It is.
But anyway, we're not releasing it. You got to learn it here. So cool. All right. So here, boom, right off. Now you got this here still. So now you're clean. Now here's the cool part too is what you do is these fingers right here wrap around this and they're squishing it and it pops out. So it comes out, it pops out. Now my finger's clean. I can do this. I can be in the cramp position here because I'm displaying the ring.
Yeah.
Look, this is your ring, right?
Yeah.
Now from here, if you want to get rid of this gimmick, this is the best way to do it. When you're finished the trick, you linked it off, you've pulled this off, you've shown, look, solid ring, solid chain. You keep the chain, I'll keep the ring. Oh, I'm just kidding. No. You have the ring, I'll take the chain,
okay,
right?
okay.
So I just go to my back pocket, you do that funny thing where
Yeah.
it looks like you're just ditch the gimmick in your back pocket, right? And then just hand them the ring. So that's it. You left with the cool, impossible ring on chain. All you need to do is go on Amazon
.com.
and
You'll have it
get yourself some magnet balls and a chain, and you got yourself a killer trick.
by tomorrow. If you order
By
it today.
tomorrow or 2-day shipping. It depends if you're a Prime member or not.
Presenting sponsor.
Yes, sponsor. They're not paying us jack, and you know what else. All right, guys. I think that's it. I
That's
don't
it?
have anything else to offer you today. I've spent months working on all these, polishing up these routines, making sure that everything was thought out. So I put a lot of work into this, and I wanted you guys to have the best possible experience here today. And even if you walk away from this with just one of these or two, I think you got your money's worth for this.
100%.
And if you liked all of them, man, did you have a good day today.
Yeah, you can pick any trick out of this lecture and it'll pay for the lecture.
Yeah.
Any trick.
But I'm super happy
Yeah.
that I finally get to do a lecture, and it's been a long time coming. I think everybody else in the industry has done a lecture in the past, 8 years. They've done
Yeah.
all their lectures, and I'm like, oh, Chris and I, we should do lectures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much again.
My pleasure, man.
And thank you guys. And we'll see you next time right here at the table.